Yes, my people, good morning to you all. I hope you're all eating blue, sleeping blue, waking up blue, and overall living the blue life. Let's get into it straight away. Today we'll talk about Datro Fofana's future, what we're hearing. I'm surprised at that myself. We'll talk about the link, again, the talks of us going for Victor Osimhen in the summer and even willing to price Manchester United out of the players' signature. We'll talk about Reece James's comment. Quite a lot has been made of it. I'll let you know what I think about it. And I want to get your opinion as to what you think about it. So yeah, let's get into it. Please, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and also do subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, the likes do go a long way. So thank you so much. And already in the chat, I have my brother, Liam Lane, Blue Morning, Kachila Panel, and Chad, Blue Morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for finding the time to join the show. Appreciate all the support, and I can't pay you back enough. Please like and subscribe when you enter. If you have not, I see helps the channel reach a wider audience. Yes, that's the truth. Thank you so much. Chelsea wants to give Gallagher a new contract. Yeah, I think I should find this picture. Actually, we need to talk about that one too. Maybe they trust him. Maybe his commitment, because more importantly, he's committed. He's hardworking. Maybe that means everything to them. Maybe they see again him becoming a better player. He's still young. There's a chance he improves. And by the time, excuse me, we'll look at him again in the coming season. Very soon we'll be going, wow, it's really good. Yeah, thank you for bringing that one up. Like I said, if you're just let me know. Why do you think they want to give him another contract? I want to get your opinion on that. And Feded, more importantly, sorry about the cough, guys. Yeah, I feel better, but it still itches. Everton wins yesterday again. Win yesterday made my day. They delivered the biggest upset to Arsenal's title race. Here's the thing. The problem again. Here's the thing. I think that you could say that it will be the most difficult game Arsenal have played this season, and that's after the Newcastle game. If you really want to beat them, or if you want to get a result from a game against Arsenal, don't try to play pretty. Just play dirty, and believe me, you unsettle them. And I think that's one of the reasons why Newcastle got away with the win yesterday. And Sean Dyche, how he molds his team. Mount will be jealous. I don't think I don't think he'd be because here's the thing. As much as I know Mount is a good player, as much as I know he's become better, that is, if managers start looking beyond his industry and start coaching him as they should coach him, then he will be able to. He's capable of again. He'd be able to reach the heights or the level at which we know he'd be able to reach in football. But unfortunately, I'm not sure whether that's going to happen. So in this case, everything comes down to how much he's asking, and it's not my business. Again, I have no right to criticize whatever amount the player is asking as their salary or as a raise, because it is business for everybody involved. So we all see things from a surface level. So that's why, again, I'm going to try the best I can to avoid talking about how much a player is asking or not. It's not my business. They run, they put it because they do a lot of running on the pitch. So you can argue actually they put their lives on the line to help the club achieve results. So I have no right whatsoever to talk about how much they're asking as a salary. So yeah, again, if anything, what I do as a content creator will be just to talk about their performance on the pitch. So like I said, I have no right, no matter, again, I don't know how else to talk about it. I have no right to talk about the players' salary, how much they're asking, how much they're earning. They put the work in. So they deserve whatever they're asking to the club if they believe they can. Let's just move on from that. Except, let me see if anybody else in the chat has anything to say regarding the club wanting to offer Conor Gallagher a raise. There's nothing wrong there. He's at the club. Plus, I think he's still on his starting salary. The salary he can, the new contract after he emerged into, again, as a first-team player. So I'm not going to get into it again. Let's move on from that one. I don't think he'd be jealous. He knows how much he's asking, and he knows why. Again, the club and maybe he knows the club knows why they're not willing to give him what he's asking, and that's a chance he may well be on his way again to leaving the club. We don't know, but we'll get into that in a bit. So I want to say he's jealous again. Give Gallagher a long contract to make his value rise. That's part of it. And then I want to get your opinion. Again, as much as you know, he's not been the best player on the pitch, but the truth remains we must factor in the fact that he hasn't been played in a position where he's played all his life, like in the number 8 position, or again, or the right wing position if it's in a 4-3-3 formation, or let me just say on the flanks, because he's done well there. So playing him deep, I've always argued against any manager, especially under Thomas Tuchel, playing him as a deep line midfielder. I don't think he'd do well there, because you could say at the moment, he doesn't guard the ball very well. He's not, again, the best dribbler in the team and all that. So you would be better off deploying him in an area where, again, if there's space, he'd exploit it quite well. So I want to get your opinion. Again, to me, I think he still, again, has the potential to improve, but not as a deep line midfielder, honestly. If not, all he'd do there is run, but will offer less, again, offensively, if that makes any sort of sense to you. Again, Edin Jorginho came on again in the 59th minute, and even and Everton scored in the 60th minute. Here's the thing: I don't think whatever happened was Jorginho's fault. Do you think it is? If you look at his numbers, I saw somebody post something regarding his numbers again in that particular game. He actually did well overall for himself. So yeah, I'm not going to blame him. Sean Dyche, he plays dirty, and it worked for him. And Arsenal actually had a couple of chances. They were, you could say, on the day they were just unlucky. Good morning, Coach. Good morning to you, Josie Agbo. I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for finding the time to join us. So, Coachella, again, how would they be again? Are they well? Peter Alemchuku, again, I feel better now. Again, I thank God I had to do it well now. I hope you're there all right. Again, happy Blue Sunday. Happy Blue Sunday to you, and thank you for saying that. I'm well. How about you? You let me know if you're doing well Mount out, Felix in. That may well happen because he's been in poor form of late. Again, I'm not going to go into the argument whether he's a good player or not. I think he's a good player. As much as I don't think he's the best player in the team, I don't think he's the worst either. He's a good player, and unfortunately, I have my argument as to why he hasn't reached the height again I believe he'd reach. But that's, by the way, again, let me know what you think about the club looking to offer Conor Gallagher an improved contract. To me, there's nothing wrong in that. He's still with us. They kept him for a reason. They've probably accessed him and probably feeling like maybe if he gets a chance to play again in that position, like in the number 8 role, he'd do well. And I think he's played there. No, maybe right wing. That was the game against Wolves, and he did quite well in that particular game. So I'm not going to argue against that. But that's, by the way, we'll move on from that. Just give me a second. Let me see what we have here. Again, Gallagher was better than Mount on the pitch again versus Fulham. Yeah, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Gallagher contract extension is for market valuation purposes. There's a chance that's the case, and there's also a chance they value him. You don't know. Again, but we're just gonna look at it on the surface and they talk about it. Hello, everyone. Chama, Joseph or Joseph. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I know your intention. I don't know. Is that Joseph or is it pronounced Joseph? You let me know. If the latter is the case, you let me know. The number 2 is the correct pronunciation. How are you doing, Chama? Happy Sunday to you too. And I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for finding the time to join the show. Hello, again, just saying hello to Chama there. I'm good, Kachula. Again, you don't know how to speak Pidgin English. No, I do. I go speak Pidgin Pashu myself. I just speak Hausa, I just speak Igbo. And again, I understand Yoruba a bit, but I'm not fluent in Yoruba. So you know they talk like that, I beg. Probably because I was reading again all the community members' comments, and again, it's usually not easy to switch again and be fluent in either of the two. Mount is a good player, but for now he needs to sit on the bench for his own good. Yep, Walter or Moregbe, again, we need to bench him a bit again for him to, he needs to do some self-assessment. But more importantly, I have to say this about Mount. The managers need to start coaching him. But let's stick with Gallagher now. Very soon we'll switch it to Mount's case. So let's keep it to Gallagher at the moment, please. Let me see, what else do we have here? Let me say this again. Sean Dyche again, rock up at Everton. No transfers, lost Gordon, and first game they are again inspired, beating Arsenal. Compare that with this Paul Potter, and it's a joke. Here's the thing, I don't see Potter becoming as pragmatic as Sean Dyche, if that makes any sort of sense to you. I don't think he will. If he does, then I'd like it. Maybe that's what he needs to do for us to do well. You got my point now. Maybe that's exactly what he needs to do for us to start doing well, if that makes any sort of sense to you. Again, Chelsea women play against Spurs in the next half hour. Yes, keep us updated on the results of that game. I really want to know what's going on. Again, I would keep Conor as a squad member, but I cannot see him near the first 11. So again, will he be happy with that? It's another story. I think he gets to play. Here's the thing: he gets to play, and again, and as it's starting to look as if Mason Mount will leave the club, because the fact it remains, if Mason isn't okay with what the club is offering him, the truth remains that there are other clubs that probably will be willing to offer him that or even more. So I'm not sure what's going on behind the scenes. I'm not just going to conclude here that he's leaving. But that's, by the way, we'll get to talk about Mason Mount in a bit. I will keep Conor Gallagher. Yep, I've read that one. And Chama says again, saying hello to somebody there. Gallagher's new contract is an important move. Okay, I'll get to you in a bit. So I'm going to go to Bobby in a bit. He says Conor Gallagher's new contract is an important one. So let's get to hear why he thinks so. Bobby, over to you, brother. More importantly, okay, Chama, I saw that. So it's Joseph, not the PH one. Okay, thank you so much. Bobby, how are you doing today? I hope you're much better than you were a few days ago after the surgery.
Yes, I'm good.
Thank you so much. Good to hear. So let us know why you think Conor Gallagher's contract again. The plan to give him an improved contract is a good, it's an important move.
Yeah, it's very important for both practical and commercial reasons.
Hmm.
Conor is a loyal player that loves Chelsea, um, and he's a functional player. You see, in every team, you don't need to have technical or skillful players. Sometimes you need the workhorses and the work machines, and he's one of those players.
Hmm.
I'm somebody that really believes that his position is a six. He has to reinvent himself. I really do. Connor in a big team playing as a number eight, although it is his personal best position, but he's not good enough. He's not good enough for that sort of position at Chelsea. So he has to reinvent himself. And the best thing he can do that I think will suit his game and the best times, his best performances has been when he's dovetailing in a six with somebody else.
I
The
think
other
his best
reason,
performance actually has been when he played in an 8 against Wolves. But go ahead with what you're saying.
another reason I think it's important that we give him a new contract is because we're going to need to have that quota of homegrown talent, of which he's one.
Hmm.
And the media, although there's very little we can do to prevent media hate, but at least progressing him will be something that will keep them at bay. Because if we get rid of him, get rid of Mount, get rid
Hmm.
of all our homegrown English players, they will definitely come more after us, and we don't really need to unnecessarily provoke provoke the situation. I'm not saying we should be afraid of them, but why do it when we don't need to do it? And in fact, we actually can benefit from these players. There is a covert prejudice, it's almost instinctive,
Hmm.
that exists. And, they don't even know when they're doing it. So, it will definitely come out if we kick them out of the club, especially when we don't have to. So it's a good move. I think they should give him a new contract.
Yeah, you make a good point. You haven't spoken again. You say something about commercial reasons. You haven't. Did you talk about that? Maybe I missed it.
Well, if he'll be an attraction, isn't he? He's going to be an attraction. Chelsea's name itself within the Premier League is an attraction, but
Hmm.
within the broadcasting media, being an English player, he will be an attraction. He will be somebody that they will draw towards, use to advertise the club a lot quicker. The foreign players have to be exceptional before they get that sort of publicity. Whereas, you have to be somebody like, I mean, I don't even think Eden Hazard was ever used for any of these sort of high profile, like Sky Sports and all these things. But
Hmm.
someone like Connor will easily be used. And so, yeah, you have to have these people in your ranks, because if they are commercialized or used as any sort of postering, that helps sell your brand.
Yep, that's the truth. That's the truth. And again, Roger Pop. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but I'm going to catch up with what we have in the chat, and I'll come to you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Charles Sibley, big up to you, brother, and Bobby. Thank you so much. That makes a sense. Again, how you explained it. Charles Sibley, thank you so much again for finding the time to join the. So you say, Coach, what's up? I am not arguing again. We as Chelsea fans are seeing the issues. Potter knows now. Fix it or lose your job. It's simple. So I'm going to highlight this one because it's not currently aligned with what we're talking about, and I'll come back to it in a bit. Chelsea again, Blue Bloods again, think Mount does not need rest, but I'll highlight this. I'll read it when we talk about Mount. Now we're talking about Conor Gallagher, as you can see on the screen, so it doesn't exhaust me. Chama, again, yeah, thank you so much. Again, hello everyone, hello Coach again. I think Conor will get, we get to play, but again, it will be up to him to be consistent for him to remain in the first 11, being fair to him, playing consistently in a particular position. because now he's played deep, predominantly on the Graham Potter. So if you switch him again to on the 8, I think he'll be readapting in whatever he switches position. The truth remains he'll be readapting. So it's important to play him consistently in a particular position if you want him to perform consistently. So we must also factor that into it. And again, now this Cash again. Please help support the squad. We only need an elite coach. Just again as it's been. Here's the thing. I wish it were up to me. I have questions. But the manager is still time. I think he gets to the end of the season. Hopefully, he's learning from what again. Even paying attention to the fans can give him a clue as to what he needs to do. But I'm sure he's well acquainted with the problems that again that's you can say plaguing the team right now. But that's why we move on to that again. What's going on with the manager's rumors? Asim, I'm going to highlight this. I think I want us to talk about that in a bit. Again, I need a quality. Yeah, I get what you mean there. But let's see what the club does. But like Bobby explained, homegrown quota is important, and you must have that. So now, if you're looking at the young players who have, probably he's one of the best, one of the most established of those young players that will make up the homegrown quota. Why let him go? If that makes any sort of sense. Again, Mount. Okay, we'll talk about that in a bit. We're talking about Conor Gallagher now. Big up, Coach Panel and Chad. Happy Sunday to you in life, no limits. Happy to see you. It's coming. Nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I don't like seeing our academy players sold, but then the club is bringing in players like Enzo, Nkunku, Felix, and Modric. There's just no room in the first team for players like Gallagher. Here's the thing. There's a quota that you must meet. Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong. You must meet that quota or it's a problem. There's a number, again, a certain number of homegrown players that you must have in the team. And I think, yeah, that's important. So no matter that, you must have that. I get your argument as to, no, even at that, even as this player is coming, we must meet that quota or else there's trouble. It's kind of housework going. I hope you're doing well. Gallagher is better. Okay. The Mount, again, I will give him that. Okay, let's see what happens. What else do we have here? Again, but not good enough for Chelsea. That's your argument, and you have every right to argue that. Let me see again. I just don't want. I think, let me say, in Gallagher's case, I think also I want him again to get a lot of coaching from. He improves, and not just use him because he can run. Yeah, again, I don't just want him to continue using him because he can run, or because he can tackle, again, because of his energy or his industry, if you prefer. I need him to coach him even more to help him become an even better player, and I think he's capable of doing that. If anything, I accept, more importantly, Potter is a good coach. Beyond that, I have questions, but that doesn't mean he can now improve and take us to where at the level we want to be. I don't keep up to 2 a.m. to watch Chelsea and lose. Sorry to hear that again. I believe the room of contract extension is to protect his value and keep him as a squad player. If at all he agrees to it, not sure. Again, I agree with it, but who cares on what I think? Oh yeah, so you understand quite well. It all comes down to what the club wants to do. Choma says, I'm still asking myself why we couldn't beat Liverpool. Teams like Brighton. Brentford, was that Brentford? Yep. Again, Brentford, Leeds, Wolves again are having a blast on the field. That highlights the truth. Again, we have issues you could say it goes beyond Potter too. Again, he has some aspect of it. You have to blame him, but it does go beyond him. Again, him in particular in terms of selection. Gallagher is this Gallagher. What you see is what you get once he plays. I just hope he can get the shots and score. Yeah, but he has an eye for goal. I have to give it that. What this player coach is going to do 14 days off. I'm not sure I understand that. I'm talking to Shona there. Let me see anything else to talk about. What was wrong with Modric? He was not himself. Again, the manager said he had a cold. But if he had a cold, why start him in the first place? And my bro, Phil R7. Nice to see you, bro. I hope you're doing well. Good day, bro. We just have to keep Datro Fofana. That guy will return into a beast. We'll talk about him in a bit. We're still on Conor Gallagher here. But more importantly, Phil, I hope you're doing well. Munir Sagan, we need to sell the following. Okay, whereas the following, you taking your time to make the list. Is that what I'm saying? I like all the players from Chelsea. Thank you so much. That's what you do. As long as they are Chelsea, support them. If they do well, the club does well. And yes, people keep liking the stream and also do subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, the likes do go along with. We lost to Brighton, Leeds, and drawn Brentford. Again, we are equally bad as Liverpool. We are. I think probably, if not worse. But again, the result yesterday changes everything. Coming to you, Roger Pop. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Roger, I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you, brother. Your thoughts on the story we're hearing that the club, they are preparing to give Conor Gallagher a race. The race isn't bad. Again, and I know he has potentials, but he has to be coached, not just use him because of his energy, which I'm saying that's why Potter is using him right now because of his energy. How important do you think it is, or do you think we shouldn't do that? If you think we shouldn't do that, let us know why.
Good morning, Coach, and good morning.
Good morning to you too. Sorry, apologies for that. I didn't do that.
So listen, he's very young. He's going to be 23 in a few days. So
he's still just 22.
Yes, I believe so. If I looked at the right column,
let me check for you. Go ahead. Don't worry. Don't worry. Except if you have your spreadsheet out already.
Tomorrow, his birthday tomorrow.
Wow. So, yeah, he needs a lot of coaching. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's young. So let's put things, I don't know, if only we could be on a show that had something to do with opinion or perspective. So, yeah, he's got a lot to grow. He has a ceiling and he hasn't met it yet in potential. I watched the game a second time, our previous game against Fulham. And I thought he did rather well. In fact, quite well, better than I first saw. A couple of examples would be, for instance, Fofana came down with the ball and nearly scored, and when the moronic goalkeeper came out. Well, that long pass was by Gallagher, for instance. That was a very good play indeed. I just thought, listen, we're not doing so well offensively, but look, this is our third clean sheet consecutively. Look at it from that regard, from that perspective. So when you say, I hope he doesn't make him run and what have you, well, guess what? There's three possible, let's say two basic parts of a game.
No, the running part, I don't have a problem. Let me ask you this. Let me just say, how important is coaching? Yeah, but go ahead. Sorry.
No. It's important. I can see that, Coach. Of course it is. But you say, well, anybody can run. Well, guess what? A lot of teams aren't. Look at Liverpool right now. They are not. And BBC broke it down, for instance, on, was it Match of the Day? There's a program here that's once or twice a week that highlights every single game, and then they break it down with analysts, and they're good analysts too. And guess what? That Liverpool are not chasing down. They're not pressing from the front. That they're allowing crosses in, which is why they're conceding goals. They're not doing quote unquote the basics. So, and you see a lot of teams, they go in and out. And guess what? You have a look at Everton, and they were doing the basics at the very least, which is putting in 100% effort, like pressing, running down the ball, sticking the boot in, etc. This is, you take it for granted that this should be the case, but it's not.
No. I don't take the running for granted. I think
I'm saying,
not
you.
Ahead.
People in general, Coach. I'm just saying. It's like, well, anyone can run. Well, guess what? People don't. That's just it. That's why you have an Everton beating the top of the. Listen, this league is. You'll hear it from virtually every coach that has coached it from overseas. You hear it from a Klopp. You'll hear it from a Pep. Just everyone. They will Mourinho. They will all say no other league in the world, or at least in Europe, it is like this, because you can be a top 3 or 4 team and you will be beaten invariably by the lower teams. Like if our bottom 10 played against Europe's bottom 10, they would win. And until recently, because it's happening more and more now in La Liga, but there was never the case where you would have a top 2 or 3 team being beaten by the bottom 3. Hardly ever. But it happens in the Premier League quite often. And it has been traditionally the case. So, and that's because of their work rate. It's a different league. So that's why a lot of players...
Maybe you misunderstood my point. I'm not saying the running isn't okay. I'm just pointing out, I hope Potter looks beyond the amount of running he does and understand he's still young.
Coach, I didn't miss the point.
Coach him as he should, so he can improve as a player and reach the heights we know. We don't want when he's 24, 25, and
Coach,
when he's on the pitch, all he does is just run and lack technical ability and lack some improvement in terms of his footballing intelligence. That's my point.
Coach, I know. You made that point initially, and I concurred with you. You're not listening. I said that's the case.
Okay. I thought maybe you're just emphasizing, even if here's what I'm getting from you. Maybe I misunderstood again.
Yeah, you have.
I don't understand what the presentation of your point.
Of course, he has to grow technically, tactically, in all aspects. By the way, when I say technically, I meant with his first touch, but I'm talking about technically as in the knowledge base of the game as well.
Yeah, I understand.
In all aspects of the game, knowing when to cover for players, knowing when to press, not when to press, not knowing when to take a shot or when to, many things. We can go through a myriad of different things, and especially knowledge base. And knowledge base that comes with experience. But yes, you're right. It's like many aspects of his profession. He has to be coached, and he has to work on it, and he has to want to. And I think he does for the most part. And you can see the effort. And Bobby's right. He's Chelsea blue and blue. He's an academy chap, and he had the opportunity to be sold. He didn't want to be this window. It's because this is, if I'm not mistaken, so don't quote me, but didn't he score for Palace 8 goals and 3 assists? It was something like that, I believe.
He actually did quite well at Palace that he's doing at Chelsea right now. And that's because he played in a position that he's familiar with all through seasons for them. Mainly on the flanks, he has space to operate. Again, he's a good player overall, but unfortunately, a lot of people are not going to see that because the manager deploys him deep, which he isn't. And primarily because of the amount of running he does. That's where I'm concerned. So we're all saying the same thing.
There's so much frustration from the fan base, and it's because we're not putting the ball in the back of the net. But look, we miss opportunities very closely. And by the way, when you said that Everton game, by the way, Everton had, what was their XG? From what I saw on the highlights, Everton had far more opportunities and very close opportunities than Arsenal. And it's true. I was going to say that from the very beginning. He came in, and then on the corner, you could see there's a still photo of Tarkowski. I think it was Tarkowski scoring in the header. And guess who's close to him and the player next to him? It's our man, Jorginho, because he's not physically strong enough to block out. So he was part of the reason why they scored. He's a liability defensively. Everyone puts so much emphasis on this player is not that good, or this good with the ball and what have you. Does he create chances? Does he pass the ball well? But X amount of percentage, you don't have possession. People take that for granted. It's like a keeper. A keeper, when we concede goals, a keeper has to be in the right spot.
All right, let's move on from that. Let me catch up with what sure. Yeah. Thank you for that contribution. Let me catch up with what we have in the chat, and then we'll move on to the next topic here. Again, I I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
No, that's fine. You cut me off. That's fine. I'm kidding. Carry on, sir.
Yeah, I don't even have the energy to fight you this morning. Coach, I am just tired. I want to see some fight, some sort of attacking football. Let's make all the teams keep other team keepers again make some saves at least. Well, we've been doing that. Of late, it just seems as if the keepers are the targets of our players. If that makes any sort of sense to you, it looks like again when our players were told if you hit the goalkeeper, it counts as a goal. I don't know if that makes any sort of sense to you. We need to discuss the rotation on the wingers, Sterling, Ziyech, and Modric, plus returning players. I'm going to highlight this. I think we need to talk about that in a bit. Gallagher is a counter-attacking midfielder. He gets, again, the ball and runs. Again, he doesn't look to pass first time. Okay, a possession midfielder looks to pass quickly. He's not a possession midfielder. I think you should know that by now. It's just how his development being. Yeah, I understand. I get your point quite clearly. If I'm being honest here, I'm okay. Thank you, and nice to hear that you're cool. We need to sell Ruben Pulisic. You can't sell anybody now. Just leave that in the for the summer. Maybe make that list, and then we'll talk about it. In some loan army, we should promote Matson and sell Cucurella. Yeah, it sounds easy. It's not going to happen, and I don't think Cucurella had done that bad for us to consider selling him. Colwell deserves a spot. That's for sure. I agree with you on that one. We should give Hall more minutes this season. I think he's going to get more minutes for sure. Conversation between two people. Gallagher can be a good option, but he needs to show slow down and sometimes take his time on the field. Again, he needs to raise his football IQ, which again, that's where coaching comes in. That's where my concern is. Again, he has the potential, he has a ceiling, and he's not even close to that ceiling. If you've seen him play for Crystal Palace, you'd know he has a lot to offer, but we haven't deployed him consistently in that position where he can do well. If you want to really know what he's capable of doing, go watch the game against Crystal Palace, then you'll get to know what he's capable of doing. I want to join, again, message me via Twitter, then I'll share the link with you. It's easy, really. I just want you to stay on camera for at least 1 minute so we can ID you for security reasons. Good morning, my beautiful Chelsea family. Again, nice to see you, Jump Out. I hope you're doing well and you know what to do. I'm not going to remind you of that. Do what you said. When I get to that, I'll try to read it. Are we finally going to bid for Osimhen? I'm not sure. At this point, you can say it's all just rumors. But again, multiple outlets are carrying the story. Let's see what happens there. Yes, people, please like and subscribe if you haven't. As the likes do help the channel. Again, it helps the channel reach a wider audience. We're at 57 likes right now. We should be doing better than that. So thank you so much, Potter. It's not the man to lead us. Okay, if that's how you feel, sorry to hear that. Gallagher lacks the technicality and tactical awareness to play in a pressure position as a 6. He's not meant for a position-based football. That's the truth. But I don't think Graham Potter is a position-based manager. Actually, he's more direct. He does want the team to keep the ball, but more often he wants more penetrating passes all the time. That's why I've always said if we're able to create 5 chances under Thomas Tuchel in 5 minutes, if everything falls into place under Graham Potter, we'll be able to create 10 in 5 minutes, if that makes sense. Coach, should I call again this bad luck or indeed, or a lack of teamwork after beating the goalkeeper Fofana? Should pass the ball to Kai. Did he see Kai? That's the question you should ask, because he did all the work by beating the goalkeeper and thought he had a chance. And again, it was good defending and good goalkeeping overall. Bad luck, again, you could say.
And he's young.
Yeah, and he's young too, yeah.
But I thought he should have passed. But honestly, look, he's a fetus.
I didn't actually pay attention to Kai's position.
Yeah, he was open in the middle. But you know what? It's like if he's a 30-year-old and does that, yeah, we can maybe criticize him. But he's so young. Give him a break. I think it doesn't warrant the criticism. But I get it, because I initially thought that too.
Yeah, and again, if you have multiple comments in the chat, I'm just going to pick a few and move on because I can't reach just yours. There are a lot of people that have few comments there. I'm going to try to get to the answer too. What's wrong with Chelsea? With Osimhen, not to win, especially again, our old folks, the winning mentality is zero. I hope that changes. Again, the winning mentality is an issue. I think when you talk about the winning mentality, you think about what do we call it now? We call it Charity FC. I think it's just down to mentality. Kachila, you're right. I said it Friday. If you remember, at the moment, again, both Mount and Gallagher are seen as not much more than runners. That's where the issue lies. Running is good. It's important. Their pressing ability is good, but they need more coaching to become better players. And unfortunately for Mount, I hated that. That's what managers don't understand, that they still need coaching to become even better. Kai Havertz missed chances, and he wanted to score badly. Oh, yeah. Again, he missed it. You could say he was unlucky too. Again, I've read a few of your comments. Again, Chelsea is an IC. I fainted when we had a draw with Fulham. I'm from the hospital. Poor Chelsea. Sorry to hear that. Let me see what else we have here. Kai, it's not clinical. We're talking about Conor Gallagher here, so I'm not sure why we're going back and forth with all this thing. It can cause issues. Look at the picture on the screen. Let's make it the format now. Get used to it. look at the picture on the screen. If everything you're saying should be about that picture on the screen, except if there's no picture on the screen, then you can freeze form because it can be exhausting to go between topics, if that makes sense. So let's train ourselves so that we can work together. Let's thoughts align, whatever you're contributing, align with the current topic, so it's easy for me and the panelists too. Kai is not clinical again, and it's hurting us again because we should have been one up with that chance again he got. It's a solid argument. We don't use Logitech. Can we stop using that language, bro? You're an OG here, and you know how we operate. Last match, Havertz, Mount Gallagher. Okay, I get it. We can't score.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
don't get that.
I get his argument. Again, I understand. He has every right to his argument. And maybe I'm sounding like I shouldn't say I get it. If that's how he feels, that's fine. For me,
you can relate.
I can relate again to his argument, or maybe I should start saying it, responding like DJ. I understand where you're coming from, but that's DJ for you. It was Odegaard, not Jorginho.
Actually, it was. Listen, from the photo, they used a still photo. So what? Jorginho is not the only player close to him. There's only 2 people on the team on the field. No, there's multiple people. But the snap.
But I think I saw that too. To be honest, I think it was Odegaard. He was ball watching.
I know, but it depends on the angle, because guess what? Jorginho is literally to his right.
But let's move on from that. We're not here to talk to Jorginho. If that makes if you're okay with that.
No, I'm joking.
You're right, coach. Again, it's given a prejudice. You cannot keep making excuses. It's running the team into the ground. We shouldn't be compared to Everton. Okay. I get your argument there. Makin Neum. Let me know if I pronounce your last name correctly. I like pronouncing people's name correctly. And Nyak, bro, thank you so much for the donation. We appreciate that. But I'd always get your comment whether you donate or not. But I appreciate the support. Gallagher is a hardworking player, but he's not CFC level right now. Again, his preferred position, we have 2-3 players, including Nkunku, selling the summer, we buy back. Maybe that's why some people are arguing that the plan to, again, give him a raise, it just comes down to us, again, making sure he's on a long-term contract. So when teams come for him, we'd get excitable from himself. But I think he stays beyond coming season. But it's down to him. He has to take the opportunity he gets now.
It's financial sense, coach.
Sorry?
It's financial sense.
Yeah, financial sense. Yeah, again, thank you so much. What I'm saying here, again, my point is, if he takes this opportunity, he stays beyond the time you think because he has that potential. If we see that Gallagher we saw at Crystal Palace, he was the reason why I think did they beat Man City or they got a draw. His pressing, his run, again, his passing ability, again, he didn't just run at Crystal Palace. He did more than just run, and that's what I want to see, if that makes sense. But thank you so much, brother. I sincerely do appreciate it. But you make that's from a financial sense. Again, it makes sense. If that makes sense, I have an English coach too on the panel that's helping me improve my English. Odegaard, so he's more than just Potter's lawyer. He's also my English coach and a brother too. Odegaard was the one close to Tarkowski, not Jorginho. We're not going to talk about that now. Come on, again, that's the real problem. We just suck and find little things to keep us again going. But the truth is we suck. I agree. At the moment, we suck overall. The players, again, they do suck. A lot of blames on the players. They're, again, finishing ability. They're not clinical. Someone explained to me how Dyche can prepare Everton in a number of days, again, to beat Arsenal, and Potter, who had 2 weeks plus, again, to prepare us for Fulham, had us playing so poor. Here's the thing. Did you enjoy watching Everton? No. It's what some people call haram football, forbidden football, but it gets the job done. And that's what we haven't seen from Potter, if you allow me to explain that. And Potter will never be, he can be pragmatic, but he will never be as pragmatic as Dyche. And the truth remains, if he tries to be as pragmatic as Dyche, we'll all be going for his head.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, if we're being honest, with all the players, the talent we have, if he tries to be as pragmatic as Dyke, believe me, the Chelsea Twitter swear and the Chelsea fan base will catch fire. He cannot. He cannot ask the team to play as Daesh. He doesn't have the luxury to do that. Potter is over protecting players. Call them out. He should try and balance team. What is our style of playing? We need a format at least. Yeah, I get your argument there, but calling players out, he's not the type. Somebody with that, again, a degree in emotional intelligence will always try to see things from the player's own perspective. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know, but we'll move on. Big up, happy Sunday to everyone. Please press the like button. Happy Sunday to you too. I'm going to catch again, try and get the comments of some people I haven't seen here. Nobody's talking about the players that are interested by other clubs and players that we stocked. You have to elaborate. I'm going to highlight this. Let me see. And Glenn, big up to you, my brother. Big up Coach Roger in chat. Big up to you too, brother. I hope you're doing well. We haven't seen you in a while. And sorry, we haven't asked, and I should have done that privately. I hope your dad is recovering fully. And if he's recovered fully, again, thank God you told us about him. And we forgot to ask about him. Sorry about that. Apologies. Come on, people, build up the likes. We're at 65 likes. Let's get it to 100 as soon as possible. Gallagher has no ability to distribute ball in forward where he can, like Kante doing in every attack. I think he's actually, give him credit, really. Like the truth remains, he did well against Fulham and nearly had a goal. That is not again the position you get the best out of him, but he's able to help us again at least do a good enough job, a good enough job in that position. So that's why I give him credit. I'm never going to judge him based on that game, if that makes any sort of sense to you. Again, the standard of the club has been lowered by keeping these protected players happy. And when you say protected, I'd like you to elaborate on what you mean by that. So, Kimso, big up, bro. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Hello, the Agent of Chaos is back. Yeah, okay, you're no longer the Pony Box driver, but Agent of Chaos. Okay. When can we be able to raise again a talent like Enzo? Again, in our academy, Gallagher should use again this opportunity of an ancient player, but he doesn't have again a break to do it. I'm not Usman. I hope you're doing well. More importantly, Mountain Gallagher are not footballers. What are they? Farmers. Gallagher is a counter-attacking player. I think he cannot play with Mount at the same time. Okay, again, I think we need a sitting DM. Then let Enzo and Gallagher play as 8. At least it makes sense. He can play as an 8 and he'd do well there. Please, again, he should try to bench Mount and Kai Havertz next again. Yeah, that's where we come to that argument that he'd get himself fired. Coach, imagine what Enzo again was thinking playing. I don't think he was thinking anything. His new, the whole thing could come down to lack of lack of communication between them. But I get where your argument is coming from, Coach. Again, selection was one of the problems, and it's very obvious that our so-called old players were severely exposed, especially Mount. Look lost in the midfield. Okay. It looks like I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. I can't read everything. I'll just be highlighting as we go then. Unfortunately, there's quite a lot to read there. Let me see what else do we have here. There's something missing about Gallagher, but I cannot place my... Okay, come back to us when you place your fingers on it, if that makes sense. Anochiwa, nice to see you again. Again, he just does not give us, again, that spark. As a Chelsea midfielder, he shouldn't be playing that deep in the first place. With Kante, Enzo, and Felix, we will show. But I like the fighting spirit. The managers value that. Yep. The Bermuda Triangle, Gallagher, Mount Havertz, Kimso, you're starting something new there. Aubameyang out, Kimso. Aubameyang out. Let me see. Gallagher has no ability to distribute again in forward like Kante. You can again. It's not the same. Play for Chelsea for Crystal Palace. That's not really the problem there, but I get your argument. Gallagher, Mount, Ziyech was our problem in time to do something if we are to move forward. Okay, it is time. That Gallagher, again, the Gallagher was playing higher up the pitch behind the strikers as a 10 or a cam. He's been deployed as an 8, but slightly further forward. Again, that game, It wasn't really. Roger, did you find that it wasn't actually a 4-2-3-1? So we were misled by Fort Mob. It was actually a 4-3-3. And
Yeah, you know what?
again,
So when I watched the game the second time, that's a good question, because I at times it was a 4-2-3-1, and at times it was a 4-3-3. I think it's because of like Mount coming back into the midfield when we talked about it being fluid. That second striker, so to speak, or that number 10, or that very forward midfielder, actually comes less deep. Do you understand? It's very fluid. There are occasions, if you watch the game and you try to understand the formation or follow it, I should say. I saw it as both during different parts of the game.
Yeah,
So
and again,
it wasn't specific to one formation. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think it was everywhere, really. I think you could say that probably again led to us again to some of the players looking as if they were confused. Mount was again overlapping to what's his name, Modric's space, and that caused a bit of confusion. So maybe it's something they're practicing, but they haven't again mastered it enough to implement it again effortlessly on the pitch. Rather, what we saw was immense confusion, really. Just quickly, let me just get this comment here. Where how can players that were instrumental in our Champions League win suddenly are not good enough? Yeah, that's a good question, and I'm not sure why. I think it's a culture at Chelsea that once you're out of form, you're not good enough anymore. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah.
Actually, that question is quite appropriate to what I'm searching. There are two parts to what I'm about to say. The first part is that everything in Chelsea right now is new. The ownership is new, and the ownership is new to football. The manager is new, and the manager is new to high-level football. A lot of the players are new, and they need to be integrated into the squad. We have had a 12-man injury list, which no matter who you are, it will affect you. And there's a lot of sort of integration, regeneration. I don't think typical Chelsea, which is something I'm always proud of, we do what other people do not do or have not done and then leave them copying us. I've never known a team to overhaul their squad in the middle of the season and still have to keep winning. We've done it, perhaps through necessity, and this is why things look a bit disjointed at the moment. But there's an interesting point here. I was doing a little bit of a search based on a conversation I had this morning on a Twitter space. And if you notice, Liverpool is flagging. You know, the team has no energy. The team has problems, particularly with the imbalance in their midfield. Their attackers are not as bad as ours. They're actually scoring, but we had problems with scoring anyway with the personnel up front. And I've looked at this and I've seen that both Chelsea and Liverpool over the past 3 years have played on average, as a total of about 65 more games than Arsenal. I think even more than that, than Newcastle, and about that than Man United. It's no coincidence. There's no coincidence that these teams that are further up the table have played less overall games, and what seems to have caught up with the usual teams that are up there is extreme fatigue, except for Man City that have always invested in and had a huge squad depth. So all the get rid of brigade, get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of the other. Now, just like Reece James put on his Instagram post.
Yeah, we'll get to that, Bobby. We have it lined up.
I just want to mention it.
Okay.
But if you can't carry the bricks, you shouldn't be building the house. If you can't carry the bricks with us, you shouldn't be building the house with us. You know, any player that doesn't want to be at Chelsea, fine, go. Your likes of Aubameyang was lukewarm, Ziyech lukewarm, that's fine. But players that want to be at the club and want to fight for the club, I think we need to show them equal loyalty and embrace them. That doesn't mean to say they're going to be praying every week. But the likes of Gallagher, personally, I maintain his future is as a 6. Forget number 8, you're not good enough. You haven't got that technical ability to play number 8 for a team of this quality. But as a number 6, a bit of a workhorse, a bit of a destroyer in midfield, I think that's the future for Conor Gallagher. I really, really do. I think he will excel, and he'll probably find an England place. You know, with the fact that we haven't finished in the transfer market, we've got to get a striker, at least, and another midfielder. And the way West Ham are already insisting on Declan Rice being another British transfer record.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine Brighton allowing Moise Caicedo to go for anything less than 70 million. It might be prudent for us, certainly in terms of squad depth, especially as we may also be getting rid of Ruben, to start now as we're beginning to get the team to learn each other, get used to each other, to start rehearsing Gallagher in that position. You know, I don't buy it that he can't change. You know, that is an area that you can actually afford to play someone new. You know, he has the physicality. He has been playing it. I know you say his best game was against Wolves. I personally, it's just my opinion. I think his best game was against Palace. But we have to do this. You know, I refer again to more recent times. Mikel, who was a 10, Mourinho converted him to a holding midfielder, and he became legendary. So I look at Gallagher in that light. The only difference between Gallagher and Mikel was excellent on the ball. He had excellent technicalities, and Gallagher is a bit deficient. However, the strength of Gallagher over Mikel is that he has a shot on him. His shooting range is good, and he's a goal scorer. So I'm all for giving this kid an extended contract, and he's in the age range of the squad. So you know, just being patient with them. There's still question marks on Potter, but to be fair, he's not yet had his team. He's not yet had a team. You know, the 2 weeks, I was angry at him for the 2 weeks that we had off and he had players, but a lot of that time was spent nursing players back to be able to get on the pitch in the first place, like Reece James and Chilwell and Sterling. This week, you'll be nursing Wesley Fofana to get back onto the pitch. So there's a lot of injuries coming back. And that also has given us a problem, as it showed in that game with those injured players coming back. They weren't really up to form.
All right. Thank you very much, Bobby. As usual, again, good contribution Bobby. There. Yeah, here.
Indeed.
All right, I'm going to try and catch up with the chat as much as I can. There's no way I'd be able to get everything in the chat. I'll look for those people that I haven't read any of their comments, get a few of them, and get to the bottom. What does Potter's degree on emotional intelligence bring to the team? You're the one concerned about that. You let me know if anything. Yes, then let me just say this quickly. He'd be able to tell you could say to connect with players more than just to understand their emotions quite well and know what to do to get them to be in the right frame of mind to perform. If that makes any sort of sense to you, that's me trying. But let me see what else we have here. We saw the impact of our new players and our old players that need to work hard. I think things will fall into place. I still do believe. But the question is, things falling into place, will it be enough? Again, will the manager be able to take us to a greater height if those things happen? I don't know. It remains to be seen. there's a reason why Vivel agreed with selling Gallagher this winter. Did they agree? He didn't agree. I don't think he agreed. Did we agree? There's no way telling what happened right there. Again, bring Osimhen. It sounds easy. We'll talk about him in a bit. Hey, people, what do you think Flick was doing in the stadium? Chivon Igwe, I'm going to highlight this. Well, again, we're talking about another topic now. We're still talking about Gallagher. So let's get that one out. I think we'll talk about Hansi Flick in a bit, if that makes any sort of sense to you. Again, my screen is frozen again because I'm trying to look at the video here. Again, something we'll look at in a bit. I don't know if that changes anything. Let's see what we have. Flick is Chelsea next manager. Let me know how you know that. I want to know. Yeah, okay, let's see. Anything else? Kim, so what is again, Hansi Flick? Yeah, it sounds easy. You're not sure what he was doing at the stadium, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Had a point in the game. Again, it was looking like we were playing 4-1-5. There's a chance that's the case. Yeah, because at the time, we overloaded at the attacking area. So here's the thing. I think they're trying to, again, during the game, they were trying to implement something that you could say unorthodox. So that's why it just seems that the players were everywhere. A bit of confusion, which again takes time for them to. I'm not sure again what happened really. That's why the structure there isn't that again much clarity. But if you paid attention, it was really a 4-3-3 mainly. Potten is to select his team based on performance. I think, I don't know, there's a strong argument that he isn't doing that right now. I think Gallagher would be good for substitution. He's a good player. It's only Chelsea is not settled. Yeah, because if everyone else is playing well, you'd actually recognize that he's not a deep line midfielder. If that makes sense, we saw him on Friday, but I think he didn't play as a deep line midfielder, really. He played on the flanks practically, or as an 8, so to speak, given the structure. If you paid attention how he operated on the day. Okay, we're winning 1-0, so good. Just Carter scores. Thank you for that update. Thank you for that update, people. Yeah, again, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, people. Sorry. Again, quite a lot of comments to get, and I haven't seen your comment today, Jeffrey E. Ogbonnaya. Again, we will keep moving forward to the very best. Always positive from you, and I like that. Silas, very nice to see you, Silas. I hope you're doing well. Yes, people, keep smashing the like button. We need just how many more? About 20 more likes to get it to 100. Let's get it there and shoot for 200. We can actually do that. Let me see what else we have here. Again, this thing I have open here is really slowing down my screen. Maybe I need to get out of it. Again, I need to share it in another window, possibly the other window. I think that will, yeah, because it's a video, it's sucking up the memory. So let me close it out. Let me see what else we have here. It's a video on Twitter, and I don't know the new engineers on Twitter. I don't know what they changed there. It really does suck the life out of a system, no matter the memory, the processor size or anything. It doesn't really matter. Again, I think it will be better now. Let's see what else we have here. Again, big up Liverpool. Again, are worse than us. I think there's an argument for that. But nice to see you guys again. To everybody from us again, good points as usual. Bobby, big up to you. Bobby, again, a lot of big up to you there for somebody in the chat. Yeah, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom if you guys don't mind. Quite a lot to talk about, Coach. We have again mob bosses. As I honest, I'm not going to say that. I think honestly, I'm not going to use that language again. They haven't done anything wrong, actually. If I'm being honest with you, we have mob bosses as honest. A Potter needs to pause again his emotional intelligence for now and act like the owner. Like the owner's a little ruthless. I know you mean well by saying that, but using the term mob bosses, okay, if that's how you want to, what you want to call them, fine. Again, the correct question we should ask ourselves is: do we have the patience to keep underperforming while Gallagher improves? If the overall team improves, if anything, that help Gallagher become better. I don't think Gallagher isn't the sole reason we're underperforming. If we come to terms with that, then again we'd recognize again it's of no use again just dumping the whole thing again on him, if that makes sense. Declan Rice again has again ability only I think you could say Declan Rice has only ability for 6 row. He's stuck in defense. We needed to play with two of eight again, and a central attacking midfielder in the middle. The whole thing comes down to what Potter want to do. Chelsea, again, is a place where a player must prove not to improve. Okay, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, please. I'm going to scroll past quite a lot, please. Again, Chelsea, again, I've read that one. Potter is so quiet and slow to react to make decisions. Datro Fofana should start matches. We'll get to that in a bit. I love rock and roll. So so come sign a club and rock the bridge. Can sign it with me. Sign it with me. Can big up everyone. Big up to you too, my brother Declan. Nice to see you again. Who wants rock and roll football? I don't want club. There's a pattern to how his teams start faltering. I think he drains the life out of his players. Plus, again, he's predictable. His teams are predictable, but he drills his team again to a point where you know what they're going to do. You know you're going to find a high line. You better take your chances when you get them, because if you score 5 goals, they're capable of scoring 7 and beating you. So yeah, again, I think his teams are very predictable. If that makes any sort of sense to you, I agree. If Gallagher is converted to a 6, he still have a future at Chelsea. Okay, so you agree with Bobby. Here's a link to Jump YouTube channel. Please go subscribe and support him. Again, a good cause there. Again, like I said, I will find time, talk with him, and see how I can support him. And if you can, at least go and subscribe and support him the best way you can. Hear me out, Gallagher. Again, as a DM would walk to kill me, please. Okay, if that's how you feel, sorry to hear that. What else again? I'm at the very bottom. Declan Rice is a cheap and inferior version of Enzo. You think he's cheap? Probably will cost more than Enzo if you want him now. That Fulham game I watched with one eye closed again. I felt like a witch. We will again build this squad and we will dominate. I wanted to share something quickly, but I find it difficult to do that. If you want me to have patience with GP, I will have patience with some of these players too. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, not just the manager. It seems only fair. Yeah, it makes sense. Again, we cannot again put Gallagher in the DM because we play with 2-8. It depends again, which means you're talking about it depends on the structure. If that makes any sort of sense to you. And that game against Fulham, he didn't play deep actually. I think he played as an 8. You have to rewatch it to understand what's going on. How did people not notice Tuchel was playing Gallagher? A lot of people noticed that. It was clear Tuchel played him as a 6, and I hated that. Coach, again, you didn't see the Shakhtar owner comments about, again, Ibali. That's why I made... No, I understand. I'm not saying it's anything bad. I think I did read your whole comment when I said you shouldn't be using that. But again, you use that in a good sense, but sometimes it could come across as, you know what I mean, brother? Nothing against you. How can you get Rice now? I don't know. Again, coach, again, don't make me jump on, mate. And we have a discussion on club and this team. Maybe we need to talk about that. Chelsea need Victor Osimhen this summer. You think, okay, we are definitely building England national team. If we buy Rice, just how many players, how many English players in the team? If you're being honest, again, Everton is too good for Gallagher. Wow. Okay. I'm going to come to the panel. Let's talk about this man right here, Declan Rice. The rumors are, again, that he may well leave Chelsea. I get it. We'll all argue his cup on true and true. There's no chance he leaves. But that could happen, actually, if they don't come to an agreement, if the club ain't willing to pay him what he's asking for, and he feels like he's worth more, and he's seen other players get more, probably there's a chance the new players are earning, again, currently, the new players are earning more than he's earning, nearly twice as much, or even not, I'm not sure, 3 times as much as he's earning right now. And it's business for everybody involved. So I'm not going to blame him if he decided it'd be better off leaving Chelsea. And the rumors are, again, his behavior shows he's saying goodbye to the fans, but I don't want to read too much into that. Let me start with you, IPC. What were your thoughts on the Mount situation? What do you think will happen? And big up to you. I hope you're doing well. And more importantly, thank you for finding the time to join the show.
Hello, big up. Happy Sundays to everyone. Hope
Hello,
everyone's
IBC.
blessed.
Yeah, go ahead. Big up, brother.
Yeah, man. The Mount situation, I think it will sort itself out. I don't worry too much. But if he sells, I don't want to speculate too much into it. I think it will sort itself out. When does this guy's contract end?
He has about 16 months left, so
No,
it's going to be difficult for it to happen. Let me check for
not
you.
really. No, I don't.
It's
I don't
1.5 seasons left, basically.
Yeah, easy. I get it. I get your argument now because you've done that before regarding him being Cobham through and through. It's business for everybody involved. And again, here's this thing here. Here's this here. It says again, Mason Mount's Manchester future is in doubt. Again, with talks over a new contract on hold. We haven't heard anything ever since. And this is something that nearly a year now, if that makes sense. Maybe, let me say nearly a year since the new owners took over. Let me just put it that way. They've been in talks. If again, I'm concerned really. Again, if I'm being honest, you go ahead.
Yeah, 6 months is not really, these things. He's got 16 months left. They can still hold talks 12 months left and they'll come to a deal. I just don't think it's that much of a worry that, he's not accepted yet, or he's accepting, or he's wanting this or that. Maybe because of people think his performances are not of good standard, so they're thinking, okay, why is he even being offered? Or I can see why it's a decisive situation. But me, I think it will sort itself out for the name of the fact that he will stay. I don't believe he will leave. I think it will sort itself out. Maybe not now. Maybe in the summer, going on into next year. Maybe let's just see how the season finishes. Maybe that's the whole. Contract talks is maybe least a priority right now, but just a secure situation of making sure you're getting back into good form and playing well on the pitch, because you will be rewarded if you are doing well on the pitch. You will be rewarded. So I think it will sort itself out. But we'll see what happens. I've been seeing.
What would you want to see happen?
I would like him to sign a new deal. I would like him, but obviously not based off anything, but based off good performances. If again, you said how many months left? 16 months left or so to the end of his
about
contract.
that. Again, let's say 6.5, like Roger said.
So there's enough time for him to pick up his form and change his direction of travel. And I would like his new contract to be rewarded based off his performances moving forward. What we'll see. I would like him to stay nonetheless, though.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, let me get Declad's again his opinion. Declad wants us to talk about the possibility of jogging club taking over at Chelsea, but we'll get to that in a bit. We have other topics to cover for us. And Declad, big up to you, brother. Always nice to have you on the panel. I want to get your thoughts. What you think?
Big up.
Yeah. What you think about? Let me just start it this way. Sorry, I didn't ask IBZ there, but I think I'll get a chance to ask him that. Your thoughts on the club? Again, we're hearing that they want to offer Gallagher a raise, and again, I want you to talk about the Mason Mount situation.
They should both be signed, not based on the performance now. Even if you had the intent to sell Gallagher and Mount, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just even if they just said, "All right, we're going to sell them," sign them on good deals. Sign them on deals and then do it. I mean, what? Even if Mount was going to, even if they wanted to get rid of Mount, sign him on a deal and then you can sell him, right? Because these players will get picked up.
Just quickly, what if we sign him on a deal and put him, because the whole thing comes down to how much he wants as a salary, or probably the length of the contract. What if we end up signing him on a deal and put him on a salary where, if we decide to sell him, other clubs say this is too much, this is more than we can bear as a salary, then we're stuck with him. I don't want him to leave, if you ask me. But go ahead.
I never believed the 300K. But if he was demanding such a high wage,
I don't know how much you're asking, and I don't want to talk about that.
No. It's a hypothetical. What I'm saying here, if he's asking, Sorry? So I don't believe it.
Let me say this quickly: we have no right to question how much a player is asking as a salary. It's their job. They run 90 minutes on the pitch, and anything can happen on the pitch. We're human. You've seen players run and during games fall, collapse, and boom, they're gone. It's their lives. It's what they do as a living. That's how they earn a living. That's how they put food on the table. So that's why I hate talking about player, what they're asking. But go ahead with what you're saying, Declan.
Yeah, so that part of the game is very normal. A back and forth on contract negotiation is normal. Like some people think, you should just take it. You're worth this much. The club's going to give you what they think you're worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's other factors, not just how you play outside of football as well. There's factors. If you bring more money into the club, then that is a factor. And it's not Mason Mount sitting there saying it. They hire people. Their agents will be fighting for every dollar, right? Maybe Mount will take any package. You know what I mean? Any contract put in front of him, he'll just sign it. But he has an agent who's going to fight for him. Every player has an agent that's going to sit there and fight and say it's not enough and try to get the best deal for their player, right? So back and forth negotiation is very normal. And the rumor that put out there for MGK, everyone, because there's so much hate out there, people managed to lash onto it. But the thing that came out was that I think he was offered not even 200, and that was with bonuses. So it was a very poor deal compared to everyone else. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think this contract negotiation is affecting his playing form?
No.
Okay.
He's been overplayed.
Sure,
he's been overplayed, but not even that. I still think there's something at the club. Yeah, I think there's something at the club. There's a massive change. There's a massive disruption. And there's even more of a disruption when you bring so many players. This is a bigger squad. This is a massive dressing room. I don't think players are sure. Think of this: you do a whole preseason, you kind of know where you're going to be, and then Potter comes in and tries his emotional intelligence on everyone, and you don't know where you're going. And so I can understand everyone's.
Funny, right? You're not blaming me, right, Declan? That's funny.
Yeah,
just go ahead.
You got to understand with that there's something going on, and everyone asks why does Mason Mount play. I think there's also in that disruption, right? Just like any other disruption, the manager won't look for the whole team. He looks for the players that he trusts, right? And seems to trust Mason Mount and Havertz regardless of how bad they played. And I mean, people were saying injuries. No, he played these two from the get-go, non-stop. They haven't been dropped. He hasn't dropped them. But I also wanted to add, after you spend 700 mil and on course to spend $1 billion, is anyone really safe? Like, Mount is probably, he's come from the academy, he's probably worth a lot. Will they just say, see you later? Even if it's not smart money, I'm trying to make a smart decision here.
No sentiments at this point. But so in some ways, their hands are tied in the sense they need to meet a certain, homegrown quota. And right now,
we got plenty of that, coach.
Okay, you go ahead. I'll let you drop.
Yeah, we got plenty of homegrown. That's not an issue. What I'm saying is that I think that it's not everything doesn't have to make financial sense when you're spending that much money, which is why I'm going to go down the road of if Mount's not protected because he's the fans. Is Havertz protected because he was 72 mil? I don't think so. And I'm going to ask, is Potter really protected from a 5-year deal when you're spending that amount of money?
Not at all. No one.
So I'm trying to make logical sense. Yeah. Exactly. So I'm trying to make logical sense, right? Because I would say you sign Mount.
Yeah, Roger, I'm waiting for Gallagher. Go ahead, Declan.
Yeah, and even if you wanted to sell them, you would get more. Do you know what I mean? They're young players still. Even if Mount doesn't leave 1 or 2 seasons, you still get more for him. He's still perform at a level, and he's probably going to improve. That's how I see it. But the way it's very cutthroat, it is cutthroat. I think there's going to be a mass exodus, and it's going to be whoever Potter probably doesn't like, or it's not. I don't even think it's Potter's choice. Like I don't even.
Yeah.
I think it's actually Bowley, because I'm saying the question: how does someone go to sell Ziyech, paperwork stuffs up, and obviously it wasn't in Potter's plans, and then start him in the game? If he wasn't in Potter, if Potter made that choice, then he wouldn't be playing. He wouldn't start. This guy wouldn't make the team. So is it just Bowley going, see you later? So I'm very. the inner workings of this club is really unpredictable, and to know who wants what. And it was from the get-go, from when Tuchel got sacked in. Everything that's been happening this season, or since Bowler coming in, has not been is not natural to the game. Like, we've been watching the game for a long time, for decades, right? And I haven't seen this. It's almost unethical. The way to sack the manager, the way to spend this much money, right? Everyone calls it a loophole, but everyone's got to remember that we sold our future earnings, right? So we can't do what we did. Like, if this doesn't work out, we're stuck with this team, and we're going to be bad for a long time. And the hierarchy has set up where the Potter is the head coach. He's not the manager. I think he has very little influence. I'm starting to think our owner has a big influence. He just bought all these players. He's just going to jumble them in with no style of how we're meant to be playing. I'm kind of worried and maybe excited because we actually are buying some of the best young talent. We are setting up a bit of an industry of talent, buy more clubs, buy a whole bunch of recruitment people to make like an industry. We're just going to have like our loan system, but our own clubs to loan to, right?
Sure.
Is it just going to be an industry of young players coming, like talent non-stop? That's exciting, but on the other side, it seems very experimental. It seems very where I'm getting at is that if our owner is the way I think he is, we'll never get a big manager. We'll never get a big world-class manager of how down the hierarchy a manager is. So, like I said, get Klopp, yeah, but I don't think the guy will come even if he wanted to. And why Klopp will work? Klopp's never had. Yeah, you're right, Coach. Klopp has got asked too much of his team, and they managed to just not collapse, but they go down. Like,
this isn't actually the first time it happened at Liverpool.
I know,
but they were
I'm going to compare the
able to
Dortmund.
make some signings to fix it.
Yeah. Dortmund.
In the case of Liverpool, he's drained the life out of them, I think, a year ago or two. But they managed to make a few signings, and that solved the problem, and it's happening again. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, the difference from them two, he did the same thing at Dortmund, and now he's done the same thing at Liverpool, right? And the difference from if he came to Chelsea and what he never had was depth and a academy, right, are full of kids. Because what Klopp does too, he plays a high energy game. We got the players. You know how we laugh about our runners, right? He's got him here. The guy will actually make use of a player like Mason Mount just for his running, right? He actually will play such an intensive way.
Roger has said that a billion times to me, but
props to you, Roger. I haven't heard, but that's perfect. Like, I've always said
correct.
that. Gallagher, Modric, like I think the team's perfect for Klopp already, right? Just some players, right? I think he can get the best out of the team. But what he didn't have at Dortmund and Liverpool is depth. And we have so much depth, right? And not only that, the guy gets great use out of young players. He likes using young players that come with high energies, right? And we've got a whole academy full of them, right? So in this situation that we're in, Klopp would have brought out all the, you're not performing. He would have brought out all the kids, and he would. And the way he plays, the kids would actually look pretty good, right? He can throw them in the team and amongst some other players and play a certain role where they will look good because of how much running they can do, right? In certain areas, so he can actually make young kids look pretty good, and also develop them as well. So Klopp would have something at Chelsea that would negate that what you just said, where he runs down the players, right? He's never had that, and he'll finally get that, and players won't be run down because of that depth, right?
He's
a demanding coach.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's a demanding coach. That's why it happens, right? And that's what we need.
No, and predominantly down to his overall approach. A lot of pressing. The gang, what's it called again? What pressing again?
Yeah, pressing.
Gang and press.
Gang and press. Yeah. Again, if you don't mind, again, let's talk about this later on in the show.
I was going to go back to how I got into Klopp. Whatever. I think the hierarchy's changed as well, which is why I went to it. I think that we will never probably get a Klopp and Pep or whatever to someone that actually has an influence on the team. It sounds like it's in a very American model where, a manager gets their manager, like a technical director, gets all the players and a coach coaches them. regardless of how you want to play this and that. It's just about getting a whole bunch of talent in because of the draft system and stuff like that. So I think if this is actually happening here and it's kind of experimental, then I'm a little bit worried, because if it doesn't go well, you know, like these experimental things, like, I mean, the Fenway Group, when they first came in, they tried the money ball. 5 decades they were gone. They were lucky that players worked out. If they didn't work out, they'd be gone for a decade. If whatever we're trying here doesn't work out, we're done for a decade. That's how I see it. We're done for a decade. And it's going to be like, it's going to, you think I'm doom and gloom now, like, I mean, and you think the Chelsea fans are going to be like, you know, how they're upset about one season and about Potter. It's going to be a bad road. It's going to be hateful. And it almost brings up anxiety now, because I kind of seen it with different clubs, right? It happens. You make a big mistake, or owner tries something experimental, or something happens, and you're just gone for years. And we don't have $1 billion turnaround again. So I hope it works out. Right. It's a big gamble, actually, what's going on now, and people don't really see it.
You said that a million times.
I just want to add. I don't think this spending helped Potter as well.
No, it doesn't. No matter
the way everyone's talking, it's crazy.
Even if he is on a 10-year contract, more pressure now. It's again, like I said, it's business, and no. Again, at this time, like you said,
but coach, I'm talking about currently. Like this season, for me, there's nothing to really play for. Like even the Champions League is a big, big thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Bowley done him any favors from spending that type of money in a January window, and now people expecting something from a season that was done. You know what I mean? And it wasn't magically going to change. And I think I was on another stream, and I couldn't believe how people were talking. They thought we were going to pump Fulham 3-0, this and that. And I was trying to ask, what's actually happening? Like to the team we played Fulham last time to now, right? What's changing? Because for me, Fulham played great. Well organized, great team.
They deserve the result they got.
They beat us. They give us a run. The only thing we're getting was Enzo with Modric as well. Like, we didn't transform. All the problems we have are still there, right?
Yeah.
And the way Potter should be right now, and he's not doing it, and I don't get it. Right? Once we start getting more players back, is he has is it 39 players? Yeah, I got that right. 39, 36 players.
No, it's that yeah, technically, but
the whole full team
on loan. You got the players that
let's talk about. Let's bring it back to Declan Rice. We can talk about Potter later in the game.
Yeah. Just to say that if he's got that much, if he's got that many players, maybe we'll have some of them. I'm not sure exactly how many now. But I thought it was 39. It should be just rotate. So like, you don't play well, see you later, next person, and play his way. That should be the rest of the season. And I don't get how he doesn't do that now. What's he got to lose? The players aren't playing good. Unless he actually feels that we're actually making progress and he actually likes what he sees. And it's almost delusional.
Carrick said on Sky Sports, I mean, he actually said sometimes you need to play players out of form for them to get in form. You have to be patient. You can't just keep on chopping and changing. So,
of course,
but pro, right? So knows more
again, let's bring it back to Declan Rice again. Roger, I want to get your thoughts on the Declan Rice situation.
You mean, does he come to Chelsea? It's possible.
No, sorry, not Declan Rice. Mason Mount.
Oh, Mason Mount. Okay.
We'll get to Declan Rice in a bit. Yeah.
Listen, I watched Mason. I watched the whole game, by the way, a second time yesterday. And I watched Mason. You know, you said, I believe a couple of days ago, what is his position's primary responsibility? That's to create chances, I believe. That was the
whether it was on the 8, whether he played as a 10, but we find out it was 4-3-3. So more like, again, the way they were positioned, so he played as an 8. So go ahead.
Right. So, but he did create chances. They were intercepted. Simple as that. Like Reem, I think his name is.
Can you say that again, Roger?
Reem?
No, can you repeat that? He created chances, but they were intercepted. Did he get to the intended teammate?
Yeah,
Did
so
they
hold on. Just yes, actually, technically it did because just hear me out. He got to, like, for instance, I can't remember. Oh, it was Enzo that passed it to him on the left side. He brought it down beautifully, crossed it. Reem got his toe to it, which deflected it slightly. And yes, what's his name? Kai did get to it and put it over the bar. So yeah, it did.
Yeah,
Get to the
we
intended
remember
target.
that one. But how many in total did they create? How many chances in total?
So also there's a stat that, believe it or not, I saw a show. I don't remember which channel it was, where stats are getting too crazy because there's a stat for creating a chance to create a chance. So the person that passes it to the creator, and he does that. I watched him, and I actually put a lot more, shall we say, observational time watching him more than most other players, shall we say. And I didn't think he had that bad of a game.
Okay, let's talk about the situation.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, Enzo. Do we all agree Enzo had a very good game? Yes, yes or no?
No, let's talk about the situation. It's about his future is in doubt.
Sure. It's a very quick question.
And you know quite well, I'm not critical.
Yeah, good game.
I'm not critical. Again, I'm not critical. I'm not critical of Mount to the level that it becomes hate like every other people. But go ahead with what you're saying, Roger. Go ahead with the way you want to present your case.
So, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Your Honor. So Enzo, I thought, had a very good game. But look, he passed it straight to I forgot the gentleman's name, their number 9, and to Fulham. It was a straight pass, like he was one of Chelsea's player, and he booted it nearly halfway line, and Kepa just basically caught it near the bar and prodded it down. He nearly gave a goal away. It's like, I can point to every player that had a good moment and a bad moment.
Okay, Roger, your thoughts on the Mount's future, because his future is not down to how he performs on the pitch right now. It's not about what the fans think. You give any fans, 10 fans, 20 fans can jump up and land upside down. It doesn't change what's going on here.
I never said it did. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, but again, I know why you're going. We're going to get to the argument of his performance. That's not what we're talking about right now.
Sure. Okay, so what do you think will happen? You want my opinion on what's going to transpire?
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think about the situation? Do you think he ends up leaving? Do you want him to stay? And why do you think? Why do you want him to stay? Whatever you think will happen.
I have a feeling because this has happened to many other players before, where contract negotiations could be construed as affecting his performance. I'm not saying it is.
He's a human being.
Yeah, I'm not saying it is, but maybe the upper management or the front office, however you want to term it, believe that it's best perhaps if they delay it after the season is finished and then have contract negotiations. Do I want him to stay? Yeah, I think he's good enough to play. I think he does need to be sat down. He is started too often, but it's not just Potter that's done that. You look at Frank did this. You look at Tuchel did this. So Potter's not the only chap that did it. Do I see him going? Yeah, I can see him going. Do I see him staying? Yes, I can see him staying. I think there's a strong possibility, unless the upper management have changed strategy, that they will come to negotiations because of the fact that he bleeds blue. I know it's his business and loyalty counts for nothing, as they say, but there's a strong possibility that he will remain. And I think it's a good idea that they perhaps, defer this contract negotiation and let him, work on his game, if that is indeed an issue, consciously or subconsciously.
So do you think he needs, again, hesitant? I think he's been in awful form. And do you think that's a factor? Okay. Do you think that's a factor?
I said it could be. We don't know because we're not in his head. But there is a possibility that these negotiations.
If we talk about form, that's what we see on the screen. We watch him. I don't need to get into his head to see that he's been in awful form.
Okay, I wouldn't use the term awful. That's what I'm saying. But this is subjective. It's my perspective.
Okay, that's fine. Do you think his form, whether not good enough, whether awful, however you see, do you think that will be factored into the negotiation process?
I doubt it, because they're probably going to look at his relatively small body of work compared to a 10.
Or maybe the times where he won the Player of the Year, I think back to back in 2 consecutive years or so. I don't remember.
Which in my opinion was unjust because I thought Silva was the better player last year. But I think that's a factor. I think they will look at what he's done, and I think perhaps even his assist to Kai in the Champions League final could be a worthy mention for him in negotiations, at least subconsciously. I think there's many things that will come into factor here. His form, I don't think it will be. I don't think that the management will say, "Listen, you're out of form, and therefore you're not going to get paid as much." I think it's going to be an incentivized salary, just like virtually all of them are now. You're not going to see these. What is Reece's contract? I don't know what Reece's. I know it's incentivized, so I think it's going to be similar to Reece's contract. I think that's a safe assumption.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much Reece again. Earth right now. I'm just seeing Roger's headline. Intelligent.
See, I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood, Coach.
That's seriously hilarious, but that's by the way. I'll come back to you. I can't read Ty's headline, but that's by the way. I'm going to go to Bobby right now. Roger, I don't know. Have you dropped or did I cut you off?
No, but listen, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at anyone else. That's my motto. Go ahead, gentlemen.
No, but that's hilarious.
Never
Bobby,
take me seriously.
Yeah, Bobby, we're coming to you right now. Your thoughts on the Mason Mount situation. What do you think happens, or what do you want to happen, and why? What's the hold up? What's the hold up, really?
The hold up is that it's not a priority. Mason signs a new contract in April. That is almost a certainty. What do I want to happen? That's what I want to happen. I just want to address this thing about the business model and, this constant complaining, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. These people have purchased this club. It is down to them to figure out how they want to make the best out of their, their franchise. They had a pledge and a commitment of 1.5 billion to playing staff. They don't have to spend it all, but they were committed to earmarking that money to the playing staff. They've spent a considerable amount of it, and it's quite clear they're not going to be spending all this money every single transfer window. There's a bit more to spend in the summer, but what's happening is this thing that once entities start feeling threatened by the progress of another entity, especially in competition, what they do is start trying to find ways to draw them back. That's what's going on. This in the fan base and other fans. Oh, Chelsea's spending all this money. Oh, it's going to do this. So these are all psychological flaws. Draw them back. I'm so happy, and long may it continue, that the ownership look at these people, say, F you, other people have done it. This is our way of doing it. We're going forward. This is what we want. I don't care, seriously, if Potter doesn't choose these players. I don't even believe it anyway. I think he's part of the choosing. But if he's not, I don't care. These are damn good players. You should be able to work with them. You're meant to be a coach. You're walking into a world-class arena. I don't want Klopp at this club. Right. He's not a good manager. He's just he's a driller. He's an exercise freak.
We'll talk about that again towards the end of the show.
No, I got to finish, Coach.
No,
let me
listen.
Every time I'm talking, you tell me not to, and then everybody else can deviate. But I
did tell Declan the same thing. But go ahead, Bobby. Go ahead.
No, Klopp is not for us. He's ruined Liverpool. He does this everywhere he goes. After 7 years or so, he runs them into the ground, and then they've got to find another way of playing or rebuild. His time has lapsed at Liverpool. The only thing with Liverpool is that they hate letting go. You know, if I may quote my wife, she says you keep too much clutter in the house, and she's right, because I don't like throwing away things. She comes, she can clear everything, throw away old things, out with the old and in with the new, and she's right. She's very right in doing that, because when she tidies up, I'm like, wow, this looks really good. This is the problem with clubs like Liverpool. They hate letting go of the old. That's why they keep banging on about things they did in 1805 that nobody cares about anymore. Just like
Preach,
Arsenal.
Bobby,
But you've
preach.
got to be forward thinking. We are a forward thinking club. Chelsea don't live in history.
We're
make
trailblazers,
history.
Bobby.
We keep making history. That's what we're doing. So what's going on now is Chelsea's trying to start a new chapter. And what happens whenever we do everything? They all start copying us. Everybody wants Mourinho now. Everybody wants Conte. All of a sudden, Thomas Tuchel they want. They want this that Chelsea have already done, dusted, and got rid of.
Here.
Does anyone want Potter? Just
No,
for a friend. Asking for a friend.
Potter is still with us. But I can assure you,
Good one.
if he wins the trophy and we get rid of him, Spurs in particular will be lining up for him.
For sure.
Yeah, since we're talking about Potter, right now, I don't think if he leaves Chelsea, anybody that wants him will be one of any of those top 6 club, top 8 actually.
Brighton won't even get him back.
Right
That
now,
manager's
as it
doing
is
better.
right now, I get it. If he wins trophy and he loses his job, people will want him. But let's move on from that. So, Bobby, I get it. You think Mason Mount gets his new contract in April? He signs a new contract. That's fine. We're still at.
Definitely, those that are more in the know than we are have already been putting that out. That contract negotiations are progressing, and there's confidence on both sides that the contract will be signed. I don't see it otherwise, to be honest. To me, it will surprise me if he doesn't sign the contract. It really will. But if he doesn't sign by August, if I may quote Matt from the other platform, that Matt that comes here every now and then.
Yeah.
If he doesn't sign by August, then definitely he needs to be sold.
Oh yeah, but again, then you're not going to get enough from him. But again, it's not really looking good. If we're being honest, it shouldn't be taking this long. If the club values him that much. But that's by the way, again, I want to bring in. Sorry, nobody knows.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder what they are. The stumbling blocks. That's all.
Most likely, there's a chance it's the length of the contract. Maybe he doesn't want that. There's a chance it is, again, how much they're offering him. And he's looked at how much every other person is earning and feels like he should be earning more. You don't know. And I think, again, given how the length of his, again, how much, that is, that he has just less than 2 years left on his contract, it will be difficult to give him something, because there are other people looking at him. It's business for all parties involved. And I'm going to keep saying this,
of course,
again and again and again. No matter how you see it, it's business for him. He wants to earn money.
Coach, all the current crop of new players, young players coming in are on less than 100K. All of them.
Yeah. But how much is he on?
He's on, I think, 75.
Yeah. Think about it. How much is Kante on? How much is on, what's his name? Keparu Sabalaga, N'Golo Kante, Mateo Kovacic. He'll be looking at these guys.
These
probably want more than they're earning
by the current owners.
Yeah, so we don't know really, but we'll talk at our concern is, again, do we think he still stay? I think it's becoming, as days go by, it becomes even more difficult. So I want to bring in Ty and Couch Critic soon, and let's have Couch again in the house, probably because it's a Sunday. He's usually very busy. But that's, by the way, let me catch up again. Klopp hates our guts. He's too proud to come over here again and let him go coach Schalke or some other club.
Happen, coach.
It would never happen. Even he wouldn't come, and the fans, I think, will hate him. I don't want Klopp. Says again, Kimso. Again, coach
another
with the youth
Benitez situation.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, with the youth players, time for a new bunch to step up. Again, Chicks, Gallagher, Mount are no longer kids. Again, when summer comes, it will be interesting. I think you phrased it rightly. Some people will say, they will all be sold. It sounds easy, but it's not going to be that easy. Mount wasn't this bad under Tuchel. But you could say the whole issue started under Thomas Tuchel, overplaying him, and all that. Again, every issue comes back to Potter. I will judge him when the whole squad is back. Maybe this job is too much for him, or it's just a transition, part of the rebuild. Let's see what happens. I'm not sure. There's no telling what it is right now. We survived Hazard. We can survive without Mount. It sounds easy. Okay, I've done that already. It looks like I'm going to scroll to the very bottom and now try to catch you again to read your subsequent contributions. Not Rice. Okay, we'll get to that in a bit. We'll talk about Rice today again. Something positive for a change. But the Sheila has been solid so far. Didn't cost 500 million. Doesn't act like he's top G. Just a straight up business. Again, it's enjoyable to watch until you realize he's actually not going to be playing for us in the Champions League. Then he breaks your heart. If that means anything. Mount will go to Liverpool. He wants a 20K a week. I don't know how you got that number, Ken, but if you're sure about that, again, that's your opinion. Mount is a Chelsea boy. I doubt he'd leave. And if he does not, again, many clubs will pay his wages. Many clubs willing to take him. It's probably why he'd be a bit reluctant to take anything other than what he's asking.
Hey, Coach.
If that makes any sort of sense to you. Yeah.
Hey, Coach, who do you think would want him?
I think Liverpool will want him, and you've said that a billion times, and it makes sense.
No, who else?
I wouldn't say Pep. He's not Pep's type. I wouldn't say he's Pep's type of player. Who else? Who else in the Premier League? Manchester United will take him.
Yeah, I think every club will be in for him just for the price. He's still
because he comes cheap, right? Yeah, given how long,
low contract, young player. I think everyone will throw their hat in the ring just for the price. I mean, Mount's not with that contract. He's not going for big money. That's why I said you sign him, and then if someone really wants him, you sell him.
All right. Let me just catch up.
Sorry, what does price have to do with it? Like it's ability, right? Like what does he do?
No, because there's still potential there.
Couch. Where? What does he do
at his age?
Okay, can you guys just give me 1 minute?
No, his age.
Can you guys just give me 1 minute? I'll come back to the panel in a bit. Again, Enzo needs technical players like Costa, like Cobra said. Again, here and coming with more abilities, not Rice. I am for Sandro Tonali. Okay, Tonali. Let's see. Hi everyone. Is that how you spell his name? I think it's pronounced Tonali. So I'm not sure the correct spelling there. Hi to you too, Monday and Bella. I hope you're doing well. Mr. Polito Way, again, thank you so much for the donation, brother. Again, like I always tell everybody, you really don't have to do this. I will get to your comment eventually, as long as it's aligned with what we're talking about. Potter's lost, again, big mistake. BB building a partnership with, what's BB? Can somebody help me here? I'm lost a bit.
Not sure.
Okay, as BB building a partnership
Benoit
with
Badiashile. Benoit
Badiashile. Okay, building partnership with Thiago Silva and not put him in the Champions League squad. Again, CB continuity is so important. He needs to play those CBs that can get informed and possibly help in the Champions League at this point. Here's the thing: we knew he will most likely be the one to be left out. And it happened. There were solid arguments as to why he should have been part of the list. But we looked at it and said he respects experience. Koulibaly will get in.
It's because Bowley picked that list, man.
Sorry?
It's because Bowley probably picked that list.
I don't think so.
On who's going to be I
don't think so.
It's probably he got those players over the line. He probably promised them Champions League already too. I think if it was Potter, right? He would have picked Badiashile. That's massive.
Do you think so?
Yeah, massive out now.
I don't think so. Then the Potter shouldn't be a coach. If it has to be the owners, and especially Graham Potter, will be the one to pick for him. The name so out of the Champions League squad, and it's him.
But Badiashile is playing the best in that position. There's not many competition. And just because. If you're just comparing the four players, that's a different story. And excitement.
Hold on a second. Can I just say this? Can I just quickly say this?
Go ahead.
I've been listening a lot. And keep in mind, okay, Badiashile played 2 games, okay? 2 games. And He's played 3 now, but the decision for the Champions League was after 2 games. And all of a sudden, everyone thinks he's the next coming of Desai now. Yes, he's been playing well, and there's a good partnership there with Silva, but he doesn't have the experience that you need in the Champions League. You look at what we need most. We need goals. We need people that can actually open teams up. That's why Yao Felix is here. And you can see every game that he doesn't play, you see the disconnect between the midfield and the attackers. Every game he doesn't play.
So Modric had one game, yeah?
Modric, you honestly think that Modric was not going to make the Champions League roster? Really?
No, I said, well, Coach, you must have missed it. When I analysed it, I didn't compare the players to each other. I compared the positions for who else is in those positions, right? So where would we be weak? We can be weak in the defense, right? So Balotelli is out, who's playing well.
But you know the funny thing is,
we're Koulibaly.
For all the talk about Chelsea being poor defensively and whatnot, we don't concede a lot of goals. We just don't. We're like in the Premier League right now. I think we're somewhere in and around 4th in terms of goals conceded. And then you look at the opposite end of the table when you look at the goals scored. We're like 18th or 19th. So where's the real issue? Is it actually keeping goals out, or is it actually scoring goals?
It was not an overall decision. It's per position. So defensively, like some of our best players are Thiago Silva, but some of our poorest players have been Koulibaly, Cucurella, right? So Fofana, who knows how he's going to be. So because there was doubts, right? Yeah, I'll break it down for you quickly. Because there was doubts in that position, I want to Balotelli in, right? Come to the forward, João Felix, right? But João Felix also on loan too. So when it comes a long-term commitment, there could be argument there. But João Felix can play through the middle for me, and with Havertz, right? Or where Havertz plays, and that's where that picks. Modric's position, right? Enzo has to come in because midfield was so weak as well. Well, the question was Modric's position or Felix's, but Modric more because there's Sterling on that side. There are other players that you can play, right? There's not much of a massive downgrade compared to the other poor performing positions. That's how I looked at it, right? Now we got all the exciting players. Yeah, I know everyone wants exciting players, but I mean, defensively is what we can lose out. I mean, especially in a game like a Champions League game, for example. I mean, that one that one person next to Silva can, be the whole downfall of the whole thing. So I think I looked at it like that, and I looked at it differently. And I thought Potter would have looked at it like that too. But I guess it was more higher up decision.
I actually agree. I can see it both ways. But if you remember, Coach, I put that out there. If we do actually choose Badiashile, who do we drop? And that was the tough question that basically no one could answer, at least collectively. And that's just it. I mean, I personally, being biased as a keeper, I would have chosen him. Don't forget, the Premier League is faster and more physical than the Champions League inherently. So if he can handle the Premier League, he can handle the Champions League.
So would you have also picked him and dropped someone else? Who would you drop? We have let's say again, for instance, how much did we pay for Modric? How much again? Who is again?
88 million.
Exactly, Enzo, and then Felix, who plays in an area where we have a bigger problem.
Sure, I understand.
We create again. You can say not enough chances from the central area of the pitch.
I agree. No, I agree. I would take the Italian ethos. If you don't concede, you don't lose. That's
you.
Well, that's how we won the Champions League.
So that's essentially what we're doing now, anyways, because our defense doesn't concede anyways.
Yeah,
so it's no different. The problem that we have right now is we don't score goals. We have a lack of ability to create goal-scoring opportunities and score. The reason why Yao Felix was come to help address that situation. So now he lost 3 games, and you're saying that he needs to sit in the Champions League in order to play Badiashile when we have no issue there? You guys just said somebody. I don't know exactly who it is, but somebody just said something about the Champions League is slower, and you don't need like if you can handle the prep. Yeah, that's very true. But the same could be said. Like Koulibaly is very much seasoned in the Champions League and can handle that pace of the game. So clearly, there's a more of a need to see somebody that has experience at the highest level in those positions who isn't going to have to
split up
struggle with the
winning?
pace and power of the pace of the game.
Sure,
Right?
sure. No, I
This
can
will
see
probably be a
that.
situation where he actually excels in more so than like the Premier League, to be honest.
But
And
that's
plus,
the
if
Coach,
you
that's
really
why I
want to
said
get
Sterling over Modric then. More
yeah,
experienced.
just quickly, I'm going to bring
person.
Bobby in so that we can knock this off again. But go ahead, Declan. You were saying something.
Yeah, I mean, in Coach's example there about Koulibaly, then the same example applies to Sterling over Modric. I mean, more experience. It's not that
Do you
much of a
guys know,
downgrade.
again, one more point we should consider is this. We want to sign, I believe we want to sign, again, Felix on a permanent. And do you think he'll be able to do that if you leave him out of the Champions League? And there's also a chance that's a clause
But he
on
might not
that
be our
loan
player
contract.
too.
Yeah, there's a chance there's a chance there's a clause on this, again, on that loan contract that says he gets to play in the Champions League.
Yes, exactly.
Well, do you think they all have that clause?
I
That's
think
their
No, I'm
balance sheet.
saying in his case, again, given how, again, he's a high-profile player, no matter how we see it. Bobby, go ahead, add, and Ty, if you want to add anything to this, once Bobby drops, I want to get your IBC. So we'll move on from this topic. I want to get a couch critics, Dennis's thoughts on the Mason Mount situation. Go ahead, Bobby. You look like you sound as if you want to say something about this.
Yeah, one of the things that brought those three players to the club was to be played and to play in the Champions League. Hopefully, we'll have more than 2 games, but we have a commitment. We had no choice than to put them in the squad because we had promised them that they will be in the squad. Whereas the likes of Badia Shield and the other young players were not given that promise. They were given a contract to play for Chelsea Football Club, but there was no specific promise about the Champions League. Yes, Madwick was given that promise because during the negotiations, when they were talking about add-ons and bonuses, and one of the things that attracted him to the Chelsea project was that. And somebody has quite rightly said, we want to keep, well, hopefully he turns out to be worth keeping, but we want to keep Felix. Now, how on earth are we going to keep him if we drop him from the Champions League? It's just nonsense. And of course, Enzo is needed. We brought him in to help the midfield. The midfield was the major problem. So he's a shoo-in without question. So they had no choice other than to put all 3 of them.
No, I get it.
Yeah, again, I don't know, Ty, you want to add anything to that? Should we move on? IBC, or should we move on? I want to get Dennis's thoughts on the Mason Mount situation.
Oh,
all right, Dennis. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Very, very difficult because I think a lot of what many, Chelsea supporters are relying on right now is just the nostalgia and the feel that we got, even 2 years ago, maybe even for some portions of last year, although I don't think that he played well last year. So I think that a lot of what we're riding on right now is the nostalgia and winning the Champions League and this idea of proper Chelsea, whatever that means. Like all of this stuff is what is seemingly coming into the fore here, but we can't ignore the fact that he hasn't been playing well. He just has not been playing well. Like that much is obvious. And if we could, you could go back. I watched the game. I went back and watched the game myself, and so many of the attacking moves die at his feet. Every time he gets on the ball, he's either turning it over or making a bad decision on the ball.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Mason Mount.
Let him drop. Let him drop.
I'm talking about Mason Mount.
He's talking about Mason Mount. That's where we're at.
And it's just so frustrating. Like, I don't know if it is like obviously there's a contractual situation. Maybe his head's not quite there, and maybe that's affecting the way he's playing. That very well could be the case. Not everyone could just like block out all this negativity, because like if you go into negotiations and then you're hearing that, well, you don't do this well or you don't do this well, this is why we can't give you this contract. That will affect your game. You're probably trying to go in the next game and trying to prove that you can do these things well, even though you can't. And then when you show that you can't, it's even more frustrating. You just dig yourself in a deeper hole. So a lot of these things could be a factor in why he's not playing well. But the bottom line is he's not playing well. And I can't ignore that anymore. Like as a Chelsea supporter, as a diehard Chelsea supporter, I want to see the best players on the pitch. And if you're not playing well, you should not be playing. It's that simple.
So what do you think should be done? Do you think the club should sell him? Are you in the camp of those that feels like a club should sell him? Do you think he's going to end up leaving? What do you think happens?
Well, I mean, it depends on the terms of the contract, right? Like if he wants to be paid like Reece James, then I don't think that there's a place for him in this squad because he's not of that caliber. Like he doesn't mean that much to this team. And anyone that thinks that he does deserve a $250,000 a week contract has not been watching him play for the last 2 years. That is a fact for me. So
True.
if he wants to get like if he's thinking about getting somewhere an incentive laden 120 million pounds pounds a week, 120,000 pounds a week, then by all means, I think there's a spot for him. He's a cog in the engine. He's not the one that drives it. You know what I mean? He's a cog. And
They've
I think
doubled
that he
him
has
to
value.
150, which I think is more than fair for him.
Even something like that, depending on how the structures are going, like incentive laden, I have no problem with that. But if he's not, the fact that people think that he's at the level of like a Reece James in terms of like a contract or something like that, just baffles me when you look at the quality.
Yeah, again, it's a complicated situation. We don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. And Chelsea got to feels like I'm marginalizing him here. This is always Glenn's comment on the screen. It's not, it's not fair. Sorry if you feel that way, bro. And again, that's not the intention. Sometimes when I highlight a comment and the panelist is talking, I leave it there for a while. And Ty, again, I hope you're ready because you're the one I'm going to be coming to next. Dennis, is that you regarding the Mount situation?
Yeah, I just think that we have to get rid of this nostalgic approach to, viewing players. Like if we keep on, like, just imagine this, okay? And I know it's extreme. Didier Drogba was a fantastic player for Chelsea, for a multitude of years. Did anyone want to see Didier Drogba play a bunch of games in 2015 when he came back? No. It's not because we forgot about what he did in 2012. It's because he's just not. He wasn't very good.
How old was he then?
Also, it's about
30
age
already. It was
it's
30
about age.
plus already.
Look at Dele Alli. Look at Dele Alli for Tottenham.
Sir, his legs were gone.
Okay, but look at Dele Alli for Tottenham. He had a good run under Pochettino, and then his play dropped off immensely.
Sure, but look at
there's no guarantee that the Mason Mount we saw 3-4 years ago under Frank Lampard is the real Mason Mount, and that he's going to continue to knock on and kick on and kick on. Like the evidence is in front of you. Like he's not playing well. He hasn't been playing well for about 2 years.
Wow.
That's what we have to think about.
I think something we can all agree right now, he's not informed. And I think we should move on from him. We have, again, another topic we'll have to talk about in a bit. Let's get to this one here. It says, again, Potter. Kimso says Potter is a yes, ma'am. Okay, if that's how you see it. A lot of people thinking the same. That is if really Bolly was the person that picked that, the 3 players that to be added to the Champions League squad, then yeah, he is a yes, ma'am, but there's no way talent. That's just you can say an assumption, or maybe what you speculate is the case. There's people having conversations here. Our process just started next game with Enzo, Felix, Mudryk, Badiashile in the first team. And here's the thing, let me say this in advance. As long as you have multiple contributions in the chat, I will only pick a few. Because some of you type so fast, if I read everything from a single individual, that's what we do for the rest of the show, if that makes any sort of sense to you. Again, Klopp has been, talking all about this club for years. We don't want him. I rather Lampard again. Yeah. Thank you.
Isn't it if you can't beat him, you join him kind of thing? Why can't you do that?
Yeah, this sounds like it, Morgan. Hello, Coach. Again, it's been a while. I and my whole family fell sick. Wow. Sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that escaped me tracks. I hope you guys are better now. We're doing better now. Okay. Hopefully I can get time to join you guys again. God bless all of you, and God bless Chelsea. My prayers are to you and your family. I hope whatever it is that you guys are suffering or going through, you overcome that. And thank you for letting us know. And please, if you believe in in higher power, please do pray for our brother. It's kept me tracks. Again, I think whatever higher power you believe in will connect that name to his real name and his family. Again, I hope you guys get better. Thank you so much for letting us know. And if there's any way I can reach you, we're not connected on Twitter. I will always reach out to ask you however you guys are doing. Thank you, more importantly, for letting us know. What else do we have here? Bring back Benitez. Nope. We're not going to do that. Keep bringing up the names, guys. Maybe Scolari, too. Maybe will work. Yes, people, keep liking the stream. We're at 109 likes right now. Let's get it to 200 as soon as possible. What about the rumored coach Osimhen on Friday? We'll talk about him. I've highlighted one of your comments, Hansi Flick, you're talking about. We'll talk about him in a bit, but we have other stuff we have to catch up with. Porter doesn't have the shoulders. Kimso, the panic bus driver, again, okay, a lot of stuff from you can, if that's how you feel, that's fine. Again, Mount doesn't need to improve anything. He needs to grow. Okay, I'm not going to read that one. I want to go to heaven. Mount is playing like he doesn't want to be here. Okay, it looks like it's about Mount now, so I'm going to scroll to the very, very bottom. Coach, if Mount stays or goes, again, there will always be disagreement. That's the truth. Coach, anyone that supports anyone that supports Muslim British, no one I know outside England supports Potter by now. I'm not sure what you mean there.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you can. If he can bench Kai and Mount again, he doesn't have. If he cannot, is that what you're saying there? I'm not sure what to make of that. Maybe you have to rephrase it. Sorry. I agree, but the Sheila not in the Champions League, a big mistake. Yep. Again, I think we'll be having the same argument had we left out Felix. If we leave Enzo, the same thing. If we leave out Modric, the same thing. So, which is kind of, again, somebody has to make, again, has to be the one to drop out. Coach, no J5, no Werner, no Lukaku, no Alonso. Lampard sacked Tuchel. Lampard sacked. Tuchel sacked. Poor performances by Porter. What is causing again time to stop ignoring the Bermuda Triangle in Chelsea? Okay, some comment there. Why would Bally put Vivell, Winstanley, Lawrence, and Shield in the board if he decides everything? Yeah, I don't think he decides everything, but I get against the Clad statement. I think that you would say that wasn't really what he meant to say, but he's just showing you that again. Maybe that's his way of saying that Potter is a yes, ma'am, or yes, sir. Again, manager. It's not Bally's decision.
Well, I know I can come to Cobra now, yeah, and ask him what's going on in the board. Tell me what's going on.
We can see a lot. Nobody knows. That's the truth. We can see the lot. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move to the very bottom. Koulibaly has played his best football in the Champions League, so that's why they took him again. They took the gamble to leave Badia Schiller out as we need the attackers again more than we need defenders. Plus, Badia Schiller again, he's here for long term and has a lot more Champions League football to play for us. If that makes sense. Shaq says again, Modric and Felix have played in the Champions League this season, and they both did well. Modric did well in the Champions League. Yes, guys, please drop on the likes and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And unfortunately, I'm going to go to the very bottom so that we can switch topics. And let me just keep highlighting because I haven't said hello to a lot of people. And I'm going to say this again. Was it you, Naughty, that complained that I highlight only Glenn's comment? I do try to get everybody's comment, but I can't read everything a single individual writes. Otherwise, I won't get the chance to read other people's comments if that makes sense to you. So let's see again. We're going to go to the next topic here. Ty, you want to add anything? You went out and in. You want to add anything regarding the Mount situation before we move on? I tried to bring you in, but you left.
Hola.
Gracias.
Hello there.
Hello.
Okay. This whole Mount thing is very funny because it's coming out after he didn't have a good game against Fulham. Giving the ball away a lot and everything. And I mean, I know it's two different rules and two different individuals, but it does remind me of the Tuchel situation with the contract extension talks, and then obviously things started to go sour, and then those talks stalled, and then the decision was made that it's fine for them to leave. I'm not saying Mount is gonna leave, but I mean, if they're at odds, and according to that, although I don't really trust the Mail and what they say most times, but if this is true, where it's a case where Mount isn't happy with the offer that was made to him, and that he's not earning, that they're not willing to give him an offer that will make him be earning close to what senior players or the other senior players are getting, that earn more than him, then he leaves. Then let him leave, because if you are the so-called pauper Chels, then the money shouldn't be the issue for you. you should be tying down yourself at the club that you supposedly love for a long time. I mean, yes, you may want to earn more because you've won things to say, okay, fine, I've been a part of this success, so as a reward you can give me this. But it can't be that you're gonna be rejecting 3 offers in a row because you don't like the monetary side of what that offer is. I don't think that is logical. But like I said, I don't trust the mail sometimes, so I'm not sure how true that is. But I mean, it doesn't mean he can't leave. It doesn't mean that he will not leave. And I mean, if we had gotten other players that play in that position that he plays in, I don't really think Mason Mount would have had a place to start. I think would have been a rotational player. And I still think that that's the type of player he is. He does look as he's improved since the Champions League triumph. And I don't think that he's been used properly. I don't think he's been utilized in a way where his minutes are managed and he's not overplayed. I think he's been overplayed. I think he needs to be benched. But I don't think Potter has the guts to do it. I don't know why, but he doesn't do it, and he needs to do it because Mason Mount can be a good player, but if you're not instructing him to be doing better, if you don't tell him that he needs to be improving in his other attributes of making competent passes and not giving the ball away, or being selfish or trying to be the hero of scoring that all important goal or scoring from outside the box, then he's gonna always struggle. He's gonna be like a Barclays who they may come consistent here and there in some games, and then they go into the shadows and they don't come back the same. So I think if he's not willing to accept an offer, then let him leave then, because he's not performing at a level where he should be even be considered to be extending, because you don't reward mediocrity. And you trying to talk with a player that is doing poorly and they're trying to rebuild, it's very contradictory. So I don't know, but it's funny to me because this is all coming out after his performance against Fulham. But I don't know, man. It's pathetic, but it's a part of football, man. And football is becoming more about the money more than ever. So,
but Ty, it's not just Potter; it's 2 previous managers also. You can't just
yeah,
say
but
it's
that
exclusively him.
supports my point, though, Roger. That's the thing. It supports my point. This is the issue. He's gonna look at the narrative of, okay, I've been under 3 managers in 4 years, and all of them are playing me. Clearly, I'm doing something good. But if you look at the surface of everything he's done, every time he's made passes this season, it's sometimes it don't pay off. It goes to the opponent, or it's overhit, or it's not at a pace where they can get to it. Clearly, if you're not telling him that he's not doing something that is competent or it's not good enough, he's gonna continuously do it because he's not getting criticized for it, he's not being reprimanded for it. So he's gonna think it's fine. But if you look at the whole surface of it,
Surely not, Ty.
well,
You tell him he's going to play
this is why I
badly because
always
no one
like
says
on
he's
the
playing
panel.
badly. He's going to be, I'm playing good.
You always disagree with me, Declare. So I'm happy.
It's not this. So I made a point. If you can talk on the point, that's all right. Rather than me just disagreeing with you.
I didn't hear that point. I'm sorry.
Oh, so I just disagreed with you. The point I made is that do you truly believe that he doesn't know he's not playing well when he has a bad game just because no one told him?
Well,
the guy that's the guy's life is football. You would know when you don't play well, even if no one tells you.
If you're truthful to yourself.
I don't think he's dyslexic. At least I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. At least I don't know.
You're saying he's blind, but he knows when he doesn't have a bad game. All those players know they don't have when they're out of form. They'd rather be playing well, right? They know that. I mean, come back to your contract thing that you said too. Should he just accept any money too because he likes the club? I mean, if you set that example, then we can go to each player and ask the same thing. Takes less money because you like the club. I mean, that's the negotiating part is normal. What you're saying now is that because no one's telling he's bad, that's why he's playing bad. That's what you said. Is that right? Or am I just disagreeing with you?
I wasn't saying it like that. And the way you say it makes
Tell me that's how I heard it.
All I'm saying is that he's not going to be pushing himself or brother is the wording that I probably use. But what I'm trying to say is that, and what I had started off by saying, is that he's not being developed or utilized properly because he's been overplayed, and also he hasn't been corrected. So yeah, he's not blind, so he clearly sees that he's not doing good. But if you're not trying to help the player who clearly doesn't see the need to be doing better, then I don't know what to say, because his attributes are very poor. I see him as a road runner. It's like he's in contention with Gallagher of or trying to make some new statistics of how many areas of the pitch he can get to and occupy. I don't know, but his attributes is very atrocious. He's been worse this season. His passes are becoming more predictable. I don't know.
Would you say, Ty, he's punching over his weight then? So if his attributes were never great, and when he did have good games, one player of the year, whatever, and now he's not in good form, did he actually overachieve or before, and now this is like the true him?
Well, he's gotten worse. He wasn't the greatest, and most of the times I don't like to use the statistics part, but because the stats can lie sometimes. But in terms of his assists and everything, most of them came from corners. And if you talk about the old open play assists and whatever the case may be, like those statman like to do.
Yeah, I get that, but you can say he's had good form as well. Yeah, like
he
there
has.
was a time where he was really good,
which is why I've made the points where I speak about consistency. So, and that's why I'm saying that, and that's why I made the point of Barkley.
Yeah, he's a young player. Young players do that. What I'm getting at, and I agree with you, he's not playing well. I think where I'm getting at is this.
I don't want to hear
this example. Yeah, this example that you put on Mount, can we put on every other player? For example, like Koulibaly, when he's not having a good game, or Cucurella, or whatever.
Yes, I'm not.
So they're not aware.
Mount and issue.
Yeah, so if no one's telling these players, the whole team's been pretty bad. If no one's actually telling them, they're not really aware. Like, do they feel like we're actually doing okay because no one's actually telling them?
I think I don't think you're getting the point I'm making. Let me see if I can pull.
No, I'm just saying what the things you applied on Mount right now. Can we apply it to the whole team?
Ty has made this point. Ty, again, would you would you like him to stay, or would you like him to go? Let's move on from that one. We have other topics to discuss, if you don't mind.
All right. So my short answer is, if he leaves, I wouldn't cry. But we need depth. We need players that can help us as rotational players. And right now, I think based on recent performances, I think Mount is more of a squad player than a starter.
That is a fact.
Well, that's purely subjective.
How is it a fact, Dennis?
He's a Marmite player, isn't he?
I guess so, but like really, if we're really looking at this game objectively, the last year or so, he hasn't been starters material. Let's just be real. I understand that his position is one that is, that sort of like 8, number 10 role. We don't really have a lot of players that can play that role effectively, and as a result, he's been played a lot. And he's been durable, which is also something that we don't have a lot of right now. But in terms of like his actual gameplay, he's not been good enough. He's just not been good enough. And maybe we've overextended him a bit, but in the end, he's not good enough for me. And my son's telling me to stop talking, so I better do that.
no, it's the family first, man. Again, we like tell him we're saying hello. That's a priority, bro. But I understand.
Can I jump in? Yeah, because everyone, I think people are going to think that I'm always sticking up for Mount, but
right,
go ahead. The scapegoating is kind of a bit annoying to me, because it used to be Alonso left. It used to be Jorginho left. Now it's Mount and Havertz, and if they go, it's just going to be the same thing. We'll pick on someone else. But like, if Mount doesn't play, I don't think this team transforms. If Mount and Havertz get dropped, I still don't think this team it like transforms to where we should be at.
You think the situation gets worse?
You see, the critic is making the point. Is literally supporting the point I was making.
Yeah. So like, what I'm actually getting at is the standards that are put on Mount and Havertz at the moment, right? Aren't put on anyone else. Why aren't we looking at the manager and the whole team? Like, I don't think you guys. There's no secret. Not impressed with the manager. He's probably not getting the best out of his players as well, right? and that includes the players that you're criticizing. But everyone's going so hard on Mount and Havertz, which is like deja vu with Alonso and Jorginho, and let's put another player in there. It just happens. It's just one player that you can pick on that is not performing well. I mean, end of the day, Mount's academy player, didn't cost us anything. If we get rid of him, it's pure profit. You know what I mean? The fact that he was durable was probably perfect. In the last 2 seasons, we had like the worst injury crisis. So just the fact the guy didn't get injured alone probably just made his worth more than he's worth. But we can bang on that drum. But I think people will forget or miss the point about the other players. No one's performing. But the manager, for me, I don't even get how we're meant to play. We can't even have a proper discussion on where Mason Mount should be playing or how he should be playing, because no one knows how they're meant to be playing. Potter, the way how is Potter playing? And then we've got so many players, we still don't even know how we're going to play. So I think Potter, I think Mount and Havertz will get dropped. I don't think the team's just going to be amazing again. I think there's deeper problems. Why is everyone so bad? Why is the manager doing what he does?
I'll tell you why. Because consistently, whenever the team plays well, plays bad, there's always been a consistent Mount Havertz.
You know why?
So people turn their ire on these two particular players because they always see them in the lineup and they always see them. You know how many? Like I'm not making this stuff up. Like almost every
I'll tell you what
move,
I say, Coach.
No, but hold on. Almost every attacking move that we saw against Fulham died at the feet of either Mason Mount or Kai Havertz. Gallagher
I
as well.
agree that they're playing bad and they should be dropped. So you don't have to like
So when you say people are criticizing them, it's not like it's not like people are like just randomly criticizing them just because of the new flavor of the month.
No, I didn't say randomly. I said they're going pretty hard and not like the focus has been shifted there and not the whole team and the manager. That's what I'm saying. Like I'll tell you what I'll see. So tell me if you guys probably can relate. Yeah. I see a team that is in such disarray as is almost managers lost the dressing room for me, right? And when the manager gets towards that point, he starts to pick the players that he can trust, because some of the players he can't trust because they've told him probably, say, I don't believe you, F off, whatever, right? And there's disharmony there, and he starts to just go to the players. He has go-to players that he can trust, and they're going to play for him.
Just quickly, if you're in the chat, please, if you see such questions, where's Kovacic, just help me address it. And I'm sure a lot of you, again, are well acquainted with Kovacic's situation right now. I think he's not fit. I'm not sure what the issue really, so that I can just move on from that. Skip that with that particular comment there. Go ahead, Declan.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that it's more. He's not playing the players based on their performance. He's playing on players that he can trust. And I think Mount and Havertz, like you just saw what happened with Aubameyang. That probably happened for half the season, and now we got dropped, and now we're just sort of falling out. But that you know, the loss of the relationship was probably happened early on with Potter about Aubameyang, right? And so he couldn't trust Aubameyang, so he kept playing Havertz. Even though he played bad, he went to the player he trusts. And now Mount probably is in the same boat, right? Because that's who he trusts. And so why would he? I'm with you guys. Why would Roy the player for he's playing so badly? These two players are playing so badly, but he keeps playing him because he's only playing players he trusts. He's not even trying anything new. He's trying to play systems that the players are comfortable with or something.
But
he's trying to accommodate
true,
people.
Though, because truly,
it's not true. It's a speculation. But like, if I ask you why these players getting dropped,
look at the evidence.
You're just going to say,
how do you support that argument when you look at like Cucurella?
No, it's a theory. It's a theory.
Okay. All right. So yeah, theoretically, he just trusts them, and he doesn't trust Cucurella, who he had for however many. He played Lewis Hall. Like he played Lewis Hall ahead of him. You know.
So, yeah, because he doesn't trust Cucurella, the guy that he's. You know, I thought that he would have been the best person for him. Has been poor under him.
De Klerk, listen, there's no coincidence that Liverpool and Chelsea played 63 games last year, the most in the whole of UEFA. And look at both teams are, shall we say, decimated with injuries. There's no coincidence. So there's, and they're both struggling this year. And guess what? There's a lack of continuity based on those injuries. And that affects form. That's no coincidence. That's just not my opinion. That's the opinion of quite a few people that have actually
No,
played the sport professionally.
I can agree, but Roger, what I say to that, if that was true, then this influx of new players should solve that problem.
Yeah, but
for me, these teams carries more because we didn't get these injuries right now. I mean, we didn't get them at the start when I was still questioning
we're actually
our performances.
Before we
right?
know we're talking about some injuries right now. I think we should move on from the Mason Mount discussion. Declan, I'll let you drop so we can move on from that particular topic.
I was just going to say this: my things, all our things are furious. We are asking question why these two players are playing, even when they're poor, right? Why they're consistently playing. I think a lot of things add up for me. That's why I come to the theory that this has all the characteristics of a lost dressing room, and it's probably going to get better. But next season, when we basically have a new team, so you don't have a dress. We always said, if you got a dressing room problem, you get rid of all the players or the manager, and usually it was the manager. But in this case, it's the players. All these players that go. I wouldn't be surprised if Mount, Havertz goes and the whole team that we had from last year goes. Just so he puts a fresh new team there. There you go. You got no dressing room problem, and go on.
All right.
By the way, I do expect the dressing room problem. I do expect the dressing room problem when you're not winning. So any dressing room that you walk into and there's harmony and you're losing a bunch of games,
something wrong.
That's not the dressing room I want to see. So there is clearly a problem in the dressing room, and it's because we're not.
It could lead, losing games consecutively could lead to players losing faith in the manager. If they don't trust him, however he coaches them, again, whatever strategy he wants them to implement during games, I don't think it will work. But again, it makes sense. Dennis, thank you for that contribution. I'll come to you in a bit as we move to the next topic. And big up to my brother CFC for nice to see you, bro. I hope you're doing well. The fastest growing YouTube channel, again, Chelsea YouTube channel. Go check it out. It should be closing into 100,000 subscribers right now. How he did that, again, a great content, great videos and all that. And you need to go check out his channel. And believe me, you will thank me later. Big up, bro. Thank you so much for finding the time to join. Again, that means a lot to me. Mount changed his style to be more stat focused. Now he's looking so inefficient. That's new. I haven't heard that one. That's new to me. But
how does that benefit him, though? I still don't get it.
Sorry.
How does that benefit Malcolm?
Okay.
Like,
I don't know, but contracts... again, I get the argument again, just to have more again. Like I said, befitting again output numbers and all that. Declared again, everybody else who is playing poor have been benched except Mountain Guy, and Declared agreed.
Yeah,
he agrees. He said he should be benched because he's not doing well right now. But his argument from another perspective is that again, we shouldn't. He feels like Mount is being scapegoat again. He's been blamed for the whole for the team's overall performance and all that. Just like it's Timo Werner now, it's Mountain Kai, and if those two
I forgot about Werner. Sorry, good one. There was Alonso, Werner.
Yeah, okay, you mentioned Alonso. Okay, yeah. So again, he overachieved. Lampard again gave him that confidence. It's gone now. You can argue that. Let me see anything else to address here. Let me see. We need a creative midfielder. Gallagher. That's not enough. Again, with mid-table player, you call him. Okay, again, yes, Osimhen to Chelsea would be a fantastic addition, but he would cost too much money. We'll get that. That's the next topic we're going to talk about. Yes, people, keep dropping the like on the stream. We have 119 likes. We can do better than that. Let's try and see if we can reach 150 as soon as possible. Well, we'd really appreciate that. Good afternoon to you too, Tom. Abia Kun. Nice to see you here. Let's see what else we have. Again, Mount leaves so much space in the middle that sometimes Correa has to drop into the midfield to cover the space, to cover the more critical part of the field, and then exposes himself on the left where, again, he should be. Okay, that's some argument right there, but I'll take my time to look at it. We need one winger who can score lots of goals because Modric has problems with that. So we need to go for Leao. It depends on how much he's available for. I don't think we'll go for him if it's anything close to 17 million plus. Again, let me see what else we have here. Mount plays in his position and performs worse. All right, I know that argument is not going to stop, but I get your point. And again, once more, big up, bro. I appreciate you finding time to join the show. Kukurea, back pass player. I don't like him. Okay, if that's how you see it, the standards of Mount are from his again stats. Is that stats? Okay, stats again. The hype and protecting again to ridiculous levels. Wow. Okay, let's see what else we have here. CFC Nathan again. Mount has good spot on the bench. It's perfect for him. Okay, if that's how you say it again, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. And again, I will try to get your subsequent contributions. Apologies for that. I know I'm closing in, but we still have quite a lot to talk about right now. What else do we have lined up here? Let's talk about, I really want us to talk about this one. Let's start with this one. That's an interesting one, for being honest. Let me see. Did I miss anything here? I didn't miss anything. So let's go for that. There you go. This one right here. I'm going to start with you, Ty. Let's see what you make of it. To me, it's nothing. To me, it could mean what comes to mind, really. I don't want to go there. It could mean anything. But people, they've taken it. The media, they're running with it. Again, there's so much interpretation. Some say he's talking about Potter. Some say he's talking about Mason Mount and all that nonsense. Ty, if you're there, let me start with you. Your thoughts on this comment, what do you make of it? To me, it's absolutely, again, it's not even worth spending time to try to, again, figure out what he means. Because it's, again, Ty, are you there? Or should I go to Dennis? All right, Dennis, you can comment if you're there, brother. Your thoughts on this, Reece James, again, social media post. I'm sure you pay
to the... He's a captain. He's a captain. Like that's... Everything he's saying right there is signaling to me that he wants to be captain of this football club and he deserves it. Like that's a captain statement. It's a rally cry. And for me, that is directed more at Aubameyang than it is at anybody else. Like he left to go to Milan after being left out of the Champions League roster, right? And if you watched his performances, like, you know, he wasn't really doing the work that we needed him to do to lead the line, which is probably why he got dropped in the first place. He doesn't really try and like put pressure on the first wave of teams playing out from the back.
He doesn't have to,
and he just looks so lethargic. He just looks so disinterested. So for me, you know, the idea of having like somebody that is building and whatnot, and you know, you're supposed to be carrying the bricks and whatnot. That whole idea is doing the hard work that is required for the team to succeed, and it doesn't look like Aubameyang wants to do that, so he got dropped.
So you think it's right again? That's about Aubameyang.
Yeah, that's my opinion. I think Aubameyang is the one that is most, that he sticks out the most for me as far as somebody that you make that comment. Ziyech played pretty hard the other day. Like, I mean, he wasn't very good, but he played really hard. Like, he was tracking back, he was trying to win tackles and whatnot. He did all the dirty work that you want to see on that right flank. He just wasn't very good in execution in the final third. But some of the ball.
Was that
sorry?
intimated?
Hey, Coach, can I see the comment? Sorry, guys. I haven't seen it.
I'll read it for you. I'll get to you next. Then I'll read it for you. It's on the screen, actually. Do you have your screen open?
Yeah, but I can't see where it is. I'm the Reecejames in the picture.
I'll read it for you. Go ahead, Dennis. You're just still talking. Sorry.
I actually asked Dennis, was it intimated towards him, do you think? In addition to Aubameyang?
I don't know, because it could be. Like, I mean, you can probably surmise that, but like, it just when I see Ziyech play, I don't get the sense of a guy that's just disinterested and is not professional. Like, I see a guy that still tries to give 100%. It's just like he's not very good. It's just that simple, right? But it's not for lack of effort. It's not for an opinion that he's not going to give 100%. But I mean, I guess you could throw that at him as well. But I really think that it's Aubameyang.
All right, Declan. Here's a comment here. It says if you've got to persuade them to help carry the bricks, then they aren't the ones to build with. Yeah, are you there, Declan?
Yeah. I mean, that could be to his girlfriend.
I'll be back in just less than a minute. Go ahead.
Is it not possible? It could be to like his girlfriend or something.
Good one, Declan. Good one.
Yeah, mate. He's maybe having a falling out with his missus. I mean, everyone's interpreted which player.
That's funny.
It's a funny one to build. I mean, maybe there is a whole bunch of players that aren't in it. and it could be directed at anyone. It could be directed at misses. This could be a quote that he liked. I mean, if you start to read into this,
It's so
I mean, this is
vague,
me reading
isn't
for the
it?
first time. Yeah,
It's very vague.
I don't take this stuff that seriously. And if he's, you know what, if any player wants to come out and actually get the team going and have a go, do it publicly. Do it on the field. You know what? Actually, don't do it publicly. Everyone will go, maybe that's not the right thing. Do it on the field. I want to see players fight with each other. Who was it again? Was it that Newcastle Dyer and that puncher? No. I wanted to see him screaming in each other's face. I want Reece James to scream in someone's face if they're not performing. I want that. I'd rather see that.
I
don't care about these Instagram messages, and it's missed. Like I said, it could be for anyone. It could be just because you like the quote. It could be so many. This isn't going to change anything, and this is not having to go on. You know what I want to say on the field? I want Reece James to scream at someone that's not putting in.
Could be to you, coach.
Yeah, it could.
Couldn't resist. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but I get your point. I mean, we shouldn't make again anything. We shouldn't read anything into this. Again, like the client is saying right now, if it's that serious, then on the pitch say yell at them. You know, call them out. Not be again. This will cause more chaos than it can help the situation we find ourselves in. Go ahead, Declan, if you're still talking. Then I'll get to IBC.
No, that's it. I'm sorry. This is the first time I saw it. I didn't see anything. And just reading it now, like I said, it could be to his missus as well. And this doesn't mean anything. Even if it was 2 players or group of players in the team, it doesn't mean anything to me. Like I'd rather see scream on the pitch or call them out publicly, like to their face, or say, you know, some of the players in the team aren't good enough. Say it like that. You know, the coach won't say it, no one will say it, or the best form, and that I want to see, do it on the pitch, because everyone's played so bad that no one says anything, no one screams at each other. There's nothing. There's no spark.
Yeah, because it's unfortunate. Again, he's a footballer, and everything he does, even if he's talking about his girlfriend or his sister, people again just ties it to football. And it's easy for that to happen. To me, I don't. If I saw that, I would say I'll just move on. Really, I wouldn't have. But I just wanted us to talk about it because it's out there. You should see the interpretation. Some say it's about Porter. Some say it's about Mason Mount. If he's not accepting the contract, if they're begging him to stay, then which to some people you could see some people go, oh, it makes sense now. It's about Mount because he's refusing to accept the new contract and all this nonsense. That's why we're talking about it here. To me, it's nothing.
Yeah. Who said there's like a future captain thing? Like if that's a captaincy kind of example, I mean that's the worst one for me. If he's just going to write cryptic messages through his Instagram, man, I want someone to scream on the pitch. And you know how you know too, like when I saw Felix play his first game, that energy compared to everyone else is different. Everyone's just low. Everyone's going to the game not caring, and there's no one screaming at each other. There's no one playing more than the other. It's mellow. It's been mellow throughout before we started getting these players. And these players come in the team, and they're so fresh, and they haven't got the contagious yet of what's going on in the dressing room or whatever, right? And they just look way better than everyone else. So whatever's happened, it's gone throughout, and there's not one person standing up and telling off everyone else.
Yeah, it was very
like even Silva's got that leadership quality. That guy's not going to do it. He's probably doing it in a different way. He's not doing it on the pitch. I want to see someone scream at the pitch. It's not good enough. If Reece James wants to do this, if he's serious about like calling out people, better ways to do it. This cryptic message thing is child's game.
It's more divisive, more it's childlike, really. Again, IPC, I don't know if you're there. I want to get your thoughts before I go to Roger and then Bobby.
Yo, I've been there for the longest. I've heard everything. It's been sick. I just didn't want to say anything.
But at least you're enjoying it. You're enjoying the debate.
I swear to God, it's brilliant. It's sweet. It's sweet. But yeah, man. There's no energy to put on this. I've declared said it, bro. Why is this even a topic? unless people want to make something out of. He was talking about my girl. You get me?
Mhm.
So obviously,
Good one.
you feel me? That's how I see it. Like, what do I care? And again, like, if he's gonna say that, okay, I'm not giving it no energy. I don't think it should be a topic. But let's just, for the sake of your argument that you have put it across here, would you not rather him say it to a man's face than say it on the net? Like, are you high, bro? Like, do you see these guys every day of your life, and you don't want to chat in their face and tell them what's what, but you want to go on the net and say if you like messages, like that's not you don't get strikes for that, bro. You know. So no, I don't look into it at all. I think I don't even think it's football related. I think he's talking about his gal or his brethren. Probably someone wants to ask him about asking for money, knowing that he's on big money now. Friends want it, you know. I don't think it's football related. I don't think it's anything to do with Aubameyang, Mount. I believe that if anyone wants to say anything, it will be done in house. Or if you really have a problem, you do it on the pitch. You call him out on the pitch if he's really, really pissing you off. But yeah, I don't look into it. I won't look into it. If it is true, then he's lost a little bit of respect, bro, from me. Because, bro, I would expect better from that. Like, well, what are we doing here? You're airing, like, what is this Lukaku type Ronaldo XB? What are you doing? You know. So if that is the case, I'll tell him respectfully, shut the fuck up and play football, bro. Don't come out on media telling us that's none of our business in that respect. You deal with it in house. So that's what I've got to say. So that's why I won't give it any attention. I don't think that's the case. So yeah.
If anything, it is really a divisive behavior. If
Yeah, like what the hell? Who does that? So
yeah.
that's why I don't believe it's that. I believe it's a bit more head screwed on than you putting out messages, knowing how people will pick up on it, especially a fan base like ourselves, fickle like autumn leaves. Oh yeah, he, like you alluded to. Oh, he did this because this person's nowhere, so he's gonna go on his Instagram story and put in characters and post it. Like, allow it, bro. What are you doing? You see man every day. You don't say that in his face, and you want to put it on the net. So I don't believe Reece James is that character. I just think it's his girlfriend or someone that wants to, you know,
or something we're not gonna even ever know.
Yeah.
Again,
I don't give it no seriousness.
Yeah, but like I said, unfortunately, he's a footballer. He's a public figure in the eye of the public. Whatever he does gets ties to football. If he writes, "My shoelaces are too tight on me," the best thing you do is loosen it. You see people still run with it. Roger, I want to get to thoughts.
They'll change it into a metaphor of a player that's making him run in the field.
Yeah, exactly. And now this has become again. This has actually become a metaphor right now. Even if it wasn't one, if it was one, I don't know. But I am the same as Fahim here, who says I wouldn't dig deep into that post from. I wouldn't either. Honestly, if I see it, I'll just move on. Yeah, but again, people stalk them. On. Yeah, people stalk them. Whatever they do, they just jump on it. So, Roger, go ahead. I want to get your thoughts here on this one.
I have to concur with just about everyone. Move on. It's too vague, you know. It really is. It's like he might as well have posted "The sky is blue." Seriously, with a few clouds,
and it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
And I remember when he liked again. He and Vinicius, you know, followed each other. It became a problem.
Yeah. See, you know, it's the Twitter sphere, isn't it? It's balderdash. I say we move on, so. Indeed.
Bobby, I don't know. You have anything to add to that one, or should we move on?
Move on. Bullshit.
That is delicious. Let me hear what people in the chat has to say because they again. Let's give them some audience. Yeah, rubbish indeed. Again, I wouldn't. Yeah, like I'm with for him there. Reece James was definitely talking about the front three and Mount. Okay. Because I want to say, James is sending a message, but to be honest, again, he always posts message like that. Thank you. So you're stalking him too. You're one of those stalking him. So you have a good idea as to his social media behavior. It means it could mean absolutely anything. It could be targeted to his close ones. Who knows? Yeah, maybe they're building a house and somebody isn't carrying the brick. We thought no, he was definitely talking about Ziyech. Again, they plan the same. They play on the same side. Maybe you never know. Ziyech don't have respect for Chelsea. We'll move them. Let's try and stick again to what we're talking about. Come on, you guys and girls. Again, please build up the likes and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes do go a long way. Declan, look at Raheem is having the laughter. What you say?
Do you know how funny how funny it can be? He could have just simply read the quote and go, you know what? I like that. I'm going to post it. Yeah. Nothing's going on in his life. He just says, you know what? I like that.
I'm bored.
I like that phrase. I like that.
That's
I'm going to use it one day.
Behavior for you. Sometimes you just post.
Yeah, so I know people that used to do that. Just to get a quote, they used to like it, they throw it out there. You know.
It's just that he doesn't normally post anything, right? He doesn't post things normally.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't read books, and maybe he just read one while he was injured for the first time, and he goes, "Yeah, man, look at that quote." I mean, if we can just the same method of reading into it is the same method I could is so easily can be dismissed.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I love how people already have a pre-agenda, whatever, and they read that and then they love linking stuff. It gets people excited, and then, you know, just do a few of them and people get convinced of stuff. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, all right, let me catch up with the chat because they have something to say about that particular topic. Don't carry too much bricks yourself before you get injured. Of course, Glenn.
Stay away from the bricks.
Real Madrid is losing, so Madrid might be looking for a new coach. Okay, you want to give them someone? If anything, I think Thomas Tuchel may well get that job, but I don't, that's not what we're talking about right now. But thank you, Lucilla. How have you been? I haven't said hello to you in a while. Please do let us know. Again, he was making about the front three. We all know this. No, we all don't know. That's what you think. To me, it's nothing. It's not more than just a post. Again, full-time score Tottenham women's 2, Chelsea 3. That's a fine, good. They're always doing well. I heard again. I saw something on social again on Twitter saying how good James's sister was in that game. What did James say? Oh, okay. I'm just gonna go back for the sake of it. Here is that it says again: if you've got to persuade them to help carry the bricks, they aren't the ones to carry the bricks. The more I read it, the more it just sounds more stupid to me. Not to even
no. I hope so. Did somebody say this?
Who?
Did somebody say look at it from the perspective that since people are assuming that it's regarding players, doesn't it?
It sounds more like a relationship one, you know.
Doesn't it?
I'm saying
it's open to interpretation.
I don't think he made the quote, to be honest.
I think it's his new friends. I think there's new friends that saw that he's getting money and they want to be part of his friends, you know, and they weren't there from the beginning, you know, when he was, you know, they didn't know him from school type beat. They just seen him in 2023, he's getting his new money. Yo, Reece, remember me from the ends? Yo, brother, me and you, brethren, all of that. And, you know, boom.
That's a delicious theory.
Yeah. If you work with me back in the days, I don't know you. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I really want us to move on from this one. Really, Ty, were you saying something?
Yeah, I was trying to say something, but it's fine, man.
No, go ahead.
No, move on.
All right. Again, Erling Haaland in 2024. Good luck. Let's see if that happens. Again, Reece James is most likely talking about the front. You've said it a million times now. Again, Osimhen is coming to United. Okay, and there's no way telling whether you're a United fan or not, given your avatar. So yeah, thank you so much again. Summer you cannot fight against United. Summer. Okay, let's see when we get there. We'll get to that bridge. We'll cross it. If that makes sense to you. Those two players have been the focal point for our attack, and it has been horrible. Okay, and big up to you too. Again, PB Talks. It just passed the 800 subs, man. Again, it could probably stick to doing women's games. I don't want to laugh at you, but why do you have to put it that way? But congratulations, more importantly, brother. Again, if you haven't, go check out his channel. He covers the women's games. Again, all he does watch-alongs, the news, and he does the men's part also, watch-alongs and news. But if you, maybe that's what you want to do. If that's you have the most audience for, go ahead, do it, brother. But welcome. And again, please do share the link to your channel when you get a chance so people can go check it out. Lauren James, man, again, contender for goal of the season. My reaction on my watch along says it all. Again, do share the links to your channel if you haven't. I'm sure you're able to do that. If not, okay, let me make you, because again, we're friends and we support each other. So I'm going to make you a mod. That way you'll be able to share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. I made you a standard mod. Let's see, what else do we have here? Anything else? I think that's fine. This is definitely something for Chelsea from Reece, if that's how you see it. Again, but without there's no with talent. If you had a conversation with him, do let us know. Then we can pay attention and say, okay, maybe that's the case. What next? This one here, something. Okay, I want us to talk about this one, and I'll start with you, Ty. Yep. Ty, this one here, Osimhen. Again, it says Chelsea are ready to rival Manchester United for Napoli and Nigerian forward Victor Osimhen. He's 24 now. Do you think he's the type of striker that will work at Chelsea, if we're being honest?
I was not actually looking at his stats this morning, because I even saw that he scored 2 goals for Napoli today.
Yeah, one delicious one today, right?
Yeah, but I mean, when I look at his stats, it's not bad. He's played 17 matches and he scored 60 goals and he has 3 assists. But there are factors that lead to him performing that way. I mean, I don't know how to pronounce that player's name that got an assist for him and also scored. But the creativity levels that we have, we've seen this. We've signed numerous strikers, and the creativity has been one of the reasons why they've struggled. Along with other factors as well. But he's a good striker. He's a good player. I'm not sure if I'm thinking hypothetically and saying that would it be ideal for Potter's team, because I don't even know what would suit Potter. I mean, does he affect fluidity? Is he about fluidity? Is he about straightforward, or does it have to be working the ball into the box? So I'm not sure. But he's a good player. I think his stats, although it's the Italian league and we can't be too fooled, but it when you look at the way he plays, his style of play, it kind of gives you that notion or that belief that if he comes in, he could be a success. But I'm not sure. I think fluid wise, I don't really think it would be the same. I think it would be a case where you'd have to try to find him, try to get him touches here and there to be a part of the build up, so he's not isolated. But I'm not sure if a striker of that caliber is the way to go. But he's a good player, and he's in good form for Napoli.
Yeah, he's a good player. To me, he's more of a Mourinho type of player, and Potter doesn't play like Mourinho. But again, this brings to mind the argument. Again, you can say the most talked about topic within the Chelsea community during the time we started talking about Lukaku joining Chelsea. A lot of people that understand football knows Thomas Tuchel doesn't play that way. From his days at Mainz, Borussia Dortmund to PSG, where he had Mauro Icardi and he had Edson Cavani, and he didn't use them that much, which was why you could say Cavani had to leave. Again, I know Potter isn't German, because it's again, that's a preferred approach to typical German managers. But Potter would have to change the way he plays to accommodate Osimhen. As much as I think Osimhen is a good player, but I don't think he'll fit into how we see Potter prefers to play. If that makes any sort of sense to anybody, it'd be interesting to see what those in the chat has to say. But Ty, thank you so much for saying that. Declare your thoughts.
You can say he's probably one of the best young strikers at the moment, which is probably why this would usually you get dismissed as a rumor. But the way we've been going, you can't dismiss a lot of stuff anymore. I think they'll just get him on the pure fact.
Again, Napoli already squatting 100 million euros.
Yeah, because of potential. Like I said, I mean, for his age group and under, he's probably the best striker, or one of the best. and it's probably why we're going for him. He's very much like a club player. Yeah, I think he'll fit Klopp really well. It's Klopp type of striker. In terms of Ty, we don't know what's happening with Potter and whether he is a Potter player or not. I still have the belief that we're just going for talent, not so much for style. So if he's the best young talent,
not so much again as to how the player fits in the project.
Yeah, I don't think that they're looking like that. I think they have the approach, and like I extensively talked about it last time, franchise clubs. I see it here where I live. I see it in franchise sports in America, especially when there's drafts and stuff like that. The tactic is when there's no transfer fees and you can buy players or academies. Do you know what I mean? When your players are coming from either like college football in America or here, where it's just in lower leagues or clubs that own little teams, right? And that because there's no promotion, there's no relegation to promotion, so they make a league of their own, which is lower, and these clubs pick from them. And this approach, and this is where Bowley comes from. It's all about accumulating as much good talent, and then over time, and especially when you're building
what to do with them.
Yeah, the best young talent they're out there, and once you, because even if a player wants to leave and you make that talent, then you can trade him for draft picks, and next time you have to do this, you're in a better position. And stuff like that, and sometimes they do it because
not in
this is kind of generalization. I know here and over there, there's
if you've
very
got a
different
hard
stuff.
salary cap, you can't do that.
Yeah, but there's a mentality there when you're just get the best talent and it'll kind of work out, right? Where footballers always been
not necessarily like in American football, they draft based on like if you're using a 3-4 defense as opposed to a 4-3, you're going to draft more linebackers than you would linemen. So not necessarily the actual.
Of course. But if they can go for an extra one and he's like one of the best, and because the way they look at it, Roger, is what did Roger drop out?
No, I'm here, sir.
Oh, sorry. I just saw someone drop out. Yeah, the way they've looked at the way they look at it is the crop of players coming through. Do you know what I mean? Like each year,
sure.
And they go this year there's so and so players. But what I'm saying that
all depends on the league,
and I agree, Roger. There's each approaches. They might be there might be like a more defensive team would go for defensive play. Like there is a general there, but the generalization that I'm making is that the mentality is different. It's about getting the best talent and then let it kind of like work out, because it's not as free to go buy transfers and that, right? So the approach and the mentality is different. And we've kind of brought that here. And I think this is what's kind of happening here, that we're going to just buy the best talent.
Can I ask you a serious question? Do you think that it's basically that it's the Egbali and Bowley are choosing these players, or do you think that Vivell and Winstanley and Potter have a large input into it? Who do you think is pulling the trigger? In other words,
I think
I'm talking about
the combination of both what you said without Potter.
You don't think Potter has any input? You don't think he talks to Vivell and Stanley?
Yeah, I don't think he's. I think he's a bit out of the loop. I don't think.
If that's the case,
I know it's crazy. It's unorthodox. I know it's. I just have this belief that he's not in. Because someone posted up. Might have been Bobby that posted up. I think Bobby posted up the hierarchy, and it's changed. And now you got technical director, and now and even Potter calls himself the head coach, and it's a very franchise thing to do as well. He should be involved. He's probably in the meeting, but you know what? I don't think he has the influence that other managers would have.
Let's bring it back to Osimhen so that we don't.
Sorry. I'll just finish this. Yeah, I don't think Potter has the influence where he says I need this player and they go get him that type of player. You know, he might have I don't. Yeah, I'm starting to think that might be the case. It's worrying.
And
I
if
hope
that's
it's
the
not.
case, that's like the Dallas Cowboys of the last 15 years or so.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not only a franchise thing. I was going to quickly add this, Roger. Roman did it as well. Roman,
Oh, sure.
So
Check
Roman
note.
went and spent all these players on ready-made players to build a brand. There was a plan behind it, right? To build the brand, bring the trophy, and then like big sponsors and all that was planned. And then after that team started getting old, that's when he invested in the best young
He did it with Shevchenko
talent.
also. Remember? The coach, they didn't want him. He just bought it because he thought he was
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
No, but I think that buying Salah, De Bruyne, Lukaku, they were the big ones. There was some other young talent too.
Thanks
They
for
just went and
reminding
bought the
me.
best young talent, regardless of whether they were going to be developed or priority. Do you know what I'm saying? So even Roman kind of just winged it in the same way. This is more
His
what we're
wasn't
doing now is
data-driven.
more like
his was not data-driven for sure. Do you think this guy will fit in though? What coach is asking? I am not sure.
I'm just
look, I'm so
wondering what
desperate.
basis you think they're winging it. What are you saying? They have to do something. They can't do nothing. They've used their data experts, even Roman, even these guys. You know, Roman did it based on what he thought, but these guys are buying players based on their analysis.
I think you misquoted me, Bobby.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll shut up then.
I didn't say this group was winging it. I said Roman winged it when he went and bought the best young talent and then hoped they just became players without an idea how they'll be developed.
Do you think Osimhen will walk out Chelsea?
All right.
Look, I'm so desperate for a striker. I just want him to come and we work around him.
What about Fofana? Do you think Fofana will work?
That's the thing. We'll get to Fofana.
Yeah,
if Fofana is on the verge, but there's a chance he joins Galatasaray.
Why?
I don't get why Fofana's not playing now.
I don't know. We'll talk about that.
And I don't get why we're getting Cuckoo and everyone's not talking like he's a striker as well.
Cuckoo isn't a striker.
That's why I said the point. Even if this guy can't work, I'm so desperate for someone to score goals. Just get them all in. Surely someone's going to kick goals, right? Someone can score, and then we just go, all right, this guy can score. Let's build around him. Let's give him some players pass the ball.
I play my grandmother.
I've been so deprived of a goal scorer for so long. I'm desperate. Bring them all in. Have 5 strikers. I don't care. Just someone score a goal. It's been so bad. So if this guy's the man getting in.
Let me catch up with this one. I'll go to Rosen and I'll get Bobby's thoughts. I'll get Bobby's thoughts on this one too. To me, again, he's targeting those that intentionally not contributing to the team. I'm not sure what to make of that one. Again, Potter wants Lukaku back at Chelsea. Where did you get that one? I don't see that one happening, and I hate to say that name. And Eugene Naughty, I'm not going to read this one because I want to go to heaven. I'm not into, again, bashing players that way. Again, I'd rather critique them than go to the extent of calling them names that aren't their names. Sucks that Badiashile isn't in our Champions League squad. Man has been super solid in his in the 3 games he's played for us. Unfortunately, somebody has to be dropped. If it was Mudryk, we'll still be complaining. If it was Felix, we'll still be complaining. So again, let's just deal with it and move on. It has happened, unfortunately. But in his case, it's again, I don't see the possibility of next Champions League squad coming out and him not being part of it, as long as he continues to do well. And you could bring up that argument that he's just played, he's had just 3 games. Maybe he hasn't, we don't have enough sample to say he should have been the one that makes the list. Again, if that makes any sort of sense to you, what we buy too much strikers in the past, again, and it didn't work. We pay, is it again? Okay, I get it. Again, it's about midfield area, bring wins. Okay, I see that. And Sam Jovi, it's okay to say you haven't watched the player. Osimhen is what? It's a dribbler and speedy striker that creates a place for others like Joba. Mourinho recently said he's on a par with Joba. He said that, and I wrote that myself. But again, here's the thing. I'm not saying Osimhen is a bad player.
No, coach, it's not you, it's me.
Okay, so here's the thing. Again, even Osimhen is a good player and has the potential to become one of the best in the world. And right now, he's one of the best. Given again, he's done it consecutively for how many seasons right now? The truth remains, you have to pay attention to how the manager approaches the game. if he joins Chelsea, he's going to get frustrated, except if Potter changes to accommodate him. That's where my argument lies. I like him as a player. If we had Mourinho as a coach, bring him. If we had, let's say, who again, even Sir Alex Ferguson, bring him. Who is these days? It's hard to find managers who to say they prefer your stereotypical strikers or traditional strikers. If you want to put it that way, Ancelotti would take him. I think so. But again,
take him.
I really don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. But again, he after all, he's taking what's his name, Haaland. Again, but you should know, again, in terms of his overall playing ability, he's not the greatest. What he is a goal scorer or poacher, if you want to face it that way. Let me see what else we have again. Coach Osimhen is not the kind of striker to Chelsea right now. I've said that before. A lot of people don't see that. The same argument we had before we signed Lukaku, that would be suicidal to make him our number 9. I rather a Juve striker. Who you're talking about, Vlahovic? Even Vlahovic, I have to look into him very well to see again overall whether he'd actually work in the Premier League and all that qualities and all that. But that's, by the way, I get the argument there. Even if another striker comes, he won't score goals again the way you want him to score because the wingers are starving our strikers. Lukaku struggles. He left Kai struggling because, again, he ain't getting support. Even Aubameyang, again, how he's done at Chelsea isn't down to him as an individual. It's down to the lack of the services. And we should know before we signed him, he doesn't have the legs to be really to participate again properly in the fluid attack, because he's not your Aubameyang. Again, he's not your stereotypical striker either, but he doesn't have the leg to participate in a fluid approach, which involves you running around, switching places and all that. He doesn't have the legs in him, or the services ain't coming in, and more. Again, there are multitude of reasons as to why he hasn't worked for him. The problem is also with the players not knowing how to shield the ball in possession. I know a few examples. I'm not going to say that. How many times did I see Chilwell lose possession against Sam Gallagher, James Mount, and the king of those people that are not capable of shielding the ball is Raheem Sterling. I just did Roger proud right now. The mistake Chelsea always makes is to find strikers again. Is your extract again. You extract a player from a good environment, and you don't prepare the same environment before including the player, the new striker. Yes, I get that argument again. And the coaching staff must train these players to know how to shield the ball. At some point, it's something you should have learned before you get to this level. Really, I think it's something that's difficult to coach. But Chelsea will always be the same if the players won't know how to share the ball. That's very important. Datro Fofana looked good on his again brief appearance, and Kunku will offer a different type of second striker, or you could say he can actually play as an 8, but playing him as a number 9, even as a second striker, I'd say you're wasting his talent, because he's an explosive player and can do more from playing him a bit deeper than playing him closer to the final. But that's, by the way, I'm going to move on now quite a lot to read. I've read a few of your comments again. The chances Kai got were difficult to convert. They were even the perfect assist. He struggled a lot to get at the end of them, and he's been ridiculed as a joker. Okay, give him to Bayern and Munich, to Bayern Munich. Then, well, it's not up to us. I think the manager likes him. You will see how Bayern uses him, and he will be scoring. Bayern says they don't want him. They told you that. The few minutes of Fofana I saw against Fulham show that he has the talent and is better than Akai. We'll get to that and ask questions as to why the club are willing to let him leave on loan. Yes, people, please keep liking the stream if you haven't, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much again for all that. It's not about the striker, it's about midfield area. For the last couple of years, against since Lampard, Ballack, and Essien. Okay, again, we don't need another striker. Potter needs to show progress with these players. We can buy. We cannot buy wins like we can buy players. We have again. What's his name? Broya. He will soon come back, and we have Datro Fofana. I'd say go with him again. Go keep him. Don't loan him out and all that. And Kimso Osimhen would just be another flop for Chelsea. Not because he's not a good player, because probably it will be difficult to make it work Come on, people. This great debate surely deserves like less than 200 likes as soon as possible. Let's get it there, people. Let's get it to 200 likes. Deserve more likes. Let's get it to 200 as soon as possible. Thank you so much for that. Bamiyan scapegoated. Yep, you could argue that. It's a solid argument. What else do we have here? Again, the bias is seeping through. Yep. Again, when Modric isn't effective, the problem is Cucurella and Mount hogging his position. But when again that happens to Pulisic, it's not good enough for Chelsea. Okay, here's the link to TyTalk's YouTube channel. Please take time to go check it out. Subscribe. Let him know I sent you. You will not regret that. I promise you that. Please go give it a shot. At least, again, trust me on that one. Courtney said Chelsea just need to do the simple things on the pitch, maybe. So, Roger, coming to you. Do you want to talk about Osimhen, or do you want me to move on to Bobby if you don't have anything to say?
No, I think I've pretty much said what I thought. But I'd like to hear Bobby's thoughts, actually.
Okay, I suspected that was going to be the case. So, Bobby, your thoughts on Victor Osimhen? Do you think we need him, or do you think we have Datro Fofana and Obroya will soon come back, and plus Kai can suffice there in the fluid approach? What do you think we should do?
I'm not too sure. I've watched this guy. I don't really know that much about him, strangely enough. I think a lot of the pushing for him is coming from the African sector, just like the pushing of the nonsense story of Fofana going out on loan. Coach, one person put that thing out. It was I think he has like 5 followers. And now everybody's saying the club's sending the Fofana out on loan. It's nonsense. This guy, I don't know him. I wish I do know him.
The Fofana rumor came from a Turkish outlet. A big Turkish outlet, but go ahead.
How valid is it? How valid?
It doesn't make sense, does it, though?
It doesn't. Yeah, in any way, it doesn't really. But go ahead.
So maybe that, how they repeat things. Maybe they did that at the beginning of the transfer window, something like that. And
I think it's nonsense.
It's not going to happen now.
Anyway,
because of this guy, I've been trying to look at Napoli games. The ones I've managed to see, I haven't seen that much of him. I've even gone as far as to see if I can find any games of him with his national team. I found a game, but he wasn't there. So I don't know. I don't know really what sort of player he is. It's not like when we were going for Haaland and we were able to see him in the Champions League. We were able to see him in a lot of the Bundesliga coverage. So we knew what he was about. If this guy is a Haaland, which I doubt, it would speak for itself. I don't know. I just think people. What puts a red flag to me is the way people are pushing this guy. He's not speaking for himself. Do you know what I mean? It's like someone like Enzo. His performance.
No, he speaks for himself, Bobby. Maybe you don't follow him. You didn't follow him. Listen, okay, I'm being honest here, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's true. I'm happy to stand corrected. I really am. I did say I don't know that much about him. If he is a good striker, then why not? Why not look at him? Just as Declared said, we're looking for people that are able to put the ball in the net. I don't think chance creation is our problem. It's finishing, as we showed against Fulham. The finishing of Kai Havertz is completely inconsistent. The finishing of Mason Mount is non-existent. And the finishing of most of our forward line at the moment, those that have been there long enough for us to assess, is pretty atrocious. So if he's a finisher and he's somebody that's a dribbler, I've seen a comment, and he's mobile, maybe it's good to look at him. I mean, rumors are that Man United are looking at him.
Yeah, they want it. And yeah.
Yeah, although I don't really look at that as a barometer. Not every player Man United wants, we should want as well. But if he's that good, then of course we should look at him.
Yeah, Declan, you look like you wanted to say something.
I also want to just add something people don't really use as a measure, I think, or don't bring up. I do get chances created and stuff like that. Midfielders that do make that possible, but a good striker can turn a half a chance into a goal. He can turn something. He can turn almost nothing into something. That's when a good striker comes in. So even when you're lacking chance creation, a good striker can turn half a chance into a goal, and that's what I miss. That when a chance comes for us, that there's a good chance it's going in or close. Do you know what I mean? Every time we go up now or the last seasons, yeah. Every time I see Chelsea go up now, I just have this thing where like I'm not convinced. Even if it's a one-on-one, I'm not convinced that it's like a 50-50 that it's not going to go through. So very much how I felt about Werner. Anytime I saw Werner go for a goal, I'm like, yeah, it's not going in. But when you take it back to when we had just killers, you Drogba, even Anelka, all that. Every time I saw a chance, I was so excited because they were just so deadly. Turn something into nothing. So every time in the final third, I was like, you get really excited. Now it's just a total opposite, and that's what Roger can relate. That I was so desperate for that. Yeah, but it's not even one striker. Like we need like a couple players like that.
Yeah, we're not scoring from all parts of the field, though.
Yeah,
it's not just up front. It's a collective failure. If you have a look, how much defensive players score goals? Virtually none. Same with the midfield.
At the moment, yeah. Especially since like Zuma's gone.
Yeah, exactly. If there's
and Rudiger.
Terry, Rudiger.
Reecejames and Chilwell were like our best finishers.
And Alonso. Alonso was clinical. We haven't replaced that. So I don't think it's just in one position. I think it's a collective. In my opinion,
the issue
but like what I'm saying is that you need that striker that's you look for, but you also need I mean maybe I'll give an example like when it was Hazard, Costa, William.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Any of these three guys got on the ball. Like if William got that chance on his right outside the box or something, it was going to be a threat. If he played and you let him through, he was going to get a great strike off, and that's long range.
Yep.
Costa, you gave him half a chance, bang, it was in. Hazard, if you let him drive into the box, you probably get a penalty. Like what I'm saying is that they were just such a threat, and they can turn into little nothings, right? Yeah. If you remember, those three strikers played with like Matic and Bakayoko in one stage too. Do you know what I mean? Like no creativity from the midfield. Right, just give them the ball and they would make it. Give it to Hazard and he will do it, or William and that. There was no creativity there, but these players did amongst themselves and they're killers. And we lack that. We are very non-threatening, and we can have the best midfielders and just lobbing balls in. Even when like even Ziyech now, he lobs in all these balls, and that's all he does. He's never going to change. But if we had like a killer striker, he would have made something out of them. Do you know what I mean? You can have all the chances, but I mean, even that Fulham game you guys brought up, we had heaps of chances. Havertz should have scored at least that one that hit the post. That should have went in. And he's not like even he hasn't even been clinical.
Easy. No, he's not. He hasn't been clinical. I agree. I rate him.
Yeah. I'm saying that one chance that should have been in. The unfortunate one. But that's what I mean. That's the difference in a lot of these games.
We hit the post
even without chance creations. Yeah, we aren't scoring.
Yeah, we're hitting the woodwork a lot the last year or two. And that's what happens when clubs aren't clinical. Either the goalkeeper has a worldie. Sorry.
Yeah, we're not.
The issue with Osimhen, I personally find, is that Lukaku has made me very suspicious of the Italian leagues.
Yes.
And the numbers alone is not what I look at. I would like to see the player.
Tammy also.
Look, I haven't seen the player a lot, but from what I've seen, he looks like a pretty good all-rounder. Do you know what I mean? He's like tall, the headers, shots.
His technical ability.
He's a good all-rounder, but I mean,
then that's what we want. That's what
but the main point that we're going to probably go after, like if we go after him, is his age.
Yeah, that's it. Well, he's 24. That's it. And why I speak with confidence about Vlahovic is that I've seen a lot of Vlahovic. So despite the numbers and things, I see him as a mobile, useful number 9. I'm not saying we should go for him as such, but I wouldn't cry if we do. I haven't
Yeah.
seen this guy, and if he is, as you say, then definitely we should go for him.
Yeah, but, to me, I'd advise him to avoid Chelsea. I'll be honest. As much as I know he's better than Lukaku, and Napoli played differently from the way Inter played when Lukaku scored all those goals. Osimhen has a better chance of fitting in, but I still wouldn't risk it.
I think our transfer policy right now is 23, 24 and under, right? The best players, and they're going to go for all of them. Who is the best talent in this age group, right? And they're going to go for them all. So it could be more. It's more than Osimhen's. It's who's the best strikers, probably who's the best young keeper. Who else do we need? Best midfield. I think they're just going to throw a lot of money at some young players, and now you can't put them on long contracts, but I think they still will put them on long contracts, even 5-6 years plus, whatever.
But also, gentlemen, I need to say, Bobby's right. Being clinical in the Italian league doesn't necessarily translate to the Premier League. We've seen that time and time again. Tammy Abrams had a marvelous season last year. It's like
Tammy hasn't come back, so let's not use Tammy as an example.
But he had a good.
Roger's right, and the other thing is that young players as well.
Should we include Roger? Can you tell me again? Should we include Tammy in that argument? He left the Premier League and he did quite well in the Premier League under Frank Lampard, if we're being honest.
Did he?
Yeah. First season he did well. First season under Lampard, he was best player. I think he started seeing less and less game time when we signed new players.
Tammy's actually not doing that good.
No, right now he's not doing that good, but he did it very well.
Yeah, but after that he dropped off. He didn't barely score.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm saying we shouldn't use Ty in that example. You can say
but what's
Crespo and others, and start naming them. They didn't really do that well in the Premier League.
Tammy wasn't that clinical for us. That's what I'm saying. He moves to Italy and bloody has a prolific season. This is what I'm trying to say.
No, he hasn't. That's what we're saying, Roger.
Makes sense now. Mm-hmm.
No,
he hasn't.
But initially he did. Hello.
No, but he started.
When he started, he did. He dropped off. But the one big point I want to make here is that
let's Roger, go ahead. Roger, go ahead.
Let me drop
it takes
bloody hell. Dude, let me drop for once. You've been speaking a lot.
Sorry, Roger. So you're a bit light. I wasn't sure that you could keep going.
No, it's a good one. No, but seriously, you can't debate it. Yes, I agree. He's had an off season this year, but he didn't have a good season at all with Chelsea. He wasn't prolific, but then he went to Italy and he was prolific. So that's where statistics back up my argument. That's what I'm saying. You can't. That's not subjective.
I agree. I wanted to bring another factor in. Is that right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
We don't have too much time. This one.
I agree with you guys. There's another factor for me. Young strikers. It takes strikers a while, so they don't really. Their peak is a lot later. It's probably the hardest thing to do, and people judge them right now. Yeah. Osimhen, you probably got to give him credit because even in that league, right, he's still 24 and kind of doing it.
And
but,
he did it in France.
It's a big jump.
Italy.
Yeah, I'd rather another 24-year-old striker in the Premier League, if there is one that is scoring, even if it's not as many goals, that holds more weight to me than Osimhen's, right? But the question is, should we be going for a young striker? I'm at the point where I want someone that finishes, get a ready-made striker that is there.
Brentford.
Roger, by the way, sorry for, again, I think your argument makes perfect sense, again, about bringing Tammy into the argument. I think it makes sense. Go ahead. So, guys, we don't have too much time, please. I have to go help do something in the house, but go ahead.
So I want someone that's on in peak and has played in this league before, like a Tony from Brentford. He would fit.
But that's not guaranteed either.
No, hey, nothing is a guarantee, Coach. You're stating the obvious. Otherwise, we would get that person if it was guaranteed. Coach, that's a weak comeback. Seriously.
Hey,
even you could do better than that.
I wasn't trying to come back. I know you know that. You're the one calling it to come
Even a broken clock is right twice a day, Coach.
Okay,
come on.
I got it. Go ahead, Declan.
I'll say Mitrovic didn't play that well, but I even take Mitrovic. It's just what we're going at. I think buying a young striker is going to be a gamble.
I would take Mitrovic, really.
Yeah, so would I. Or Tony. Mitrovic or
I
Tony.
would take him. I would take the former Wolves guy that went to Liverpool. He's very unpredictable.
Wolves. Oh, yeah. I forgot his
Portuguese
name.
international.
I like him. Yes, he's very good. But
I'll take
then
him,
again,
and
he's not a prototypical number 9, though, coach.
No, that's
He's
why I'll
exactly-
take him even more. That's the reason why I'm mentioning it even
Oh,
more.
I see
But
what you're saying.
he's capable of putting the ball in the back of the net. It doesn't have to be on a plate, really, in most
And
cases.
he
But
presses.
I want
And he
I want a prolific striker. We've been getting all these hot mixes, and
Acosta. You want Acosta?
we got heaps
don't
of them.
you?
I want someone. I just want someone to score, man.
I think
Someone
that
to take the
Sounds
penalties
so
too.
desperate. Yeah, who's
It's been so bad.
By the way,
It's been so bad. It's been one of our biggest problems. It's I don't get it why we don't go after someone who is just kind of just smashing it. You know what I mean?
Has it been addressed? Who's taking our penalties?
I don't know. We don't know.
I think it's Havertz.
Until it's time for that to happen. But
No
a
one's
lot of
asked
people
the
think
head
it's
coach,
Havertz.
have they?
Sorry?
I think it's Havertz. Someone said, "Oh yeah."
And
No one's asked the coach,
we will
but
not know. We will not know until again it happens. We get a penalty. We'll see who takes it.
Sure, but no journalist has asked him, have they?
You think he'd say?
Yeah, possibly. Why not?
Okay,
Yeah.
if they've handled it. Okay, let me catch up with what we have in the chat, and we'll get the final topic and call it a day. Fofana is better fit for Chelsea more than Osimhen. I think I couldn't agree more. If again the way Osimhen plays, that doesn't mean he's not technically gifted. But Datro Fofana is a complete player, and that's why we're going to actually move on from that argument whether he lives on loan or not, because it doesn't make sense. If the club does that, lets him live on loan, then they have questions to answer, really. If there's anybody to ask them the question. Real Madrid lost 1-0 to Mallorca. Okay. The hype around this guy is not necessary. He's good because Napoli has a good team. That's another way to look at it. Again, I think we're good enough to bring out the best in him. Smash the like button, people, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's get it to 10,000 subscribers as soon as possible. We're right now at 9,895. 10,000 isn't far-fetched. I think we can get there as soon as possible. We're doing well, all of us, not just me. I couldn't do it alone. You know that. The fight between you and I, it works. And Declan always disagreeing with me works. And Bobby always agreeing with you works to an extent, but I don't like that. Havertz was a player in front of the post. Okay. Again, Kai's inconsistency because he's not getting the perfect assist. Wow. Okay. Why blaming Havertz? Again, he has one chance on the game. Okay. Again, Kai struggles because again
he had way more chances, didn't he?
He had
sorry,
two. He had really 2 chances.
Yeah,
one was a real stretch.
Two under there, 2 clear-cut chances. You could argue. The second one, I think he did all he had to do. He was just unlucky. Yeah. Kai struggles because he doesn't get support. He just needs again a perfect assist. He will score. And again, if we can create more clear-cut chances, then the chances of us getting a goal increases. That makes sense. I know some people will say we create more clear-cut chances, is just putting it in the way. But Havertz scores against Palace in one chance. So this conversation. Okay, should I read it the way you read it? It makes nonsense. Okay, the way what you had there. Luigi, again, I hope you're doing well. I know you're responding to someone. How are you doing, brother? Exactly. Again, it's just nonsense again to blame Kai. Nobody's blaming Kai here on the panel. Maybe you guys are having a conversation in the chat. I guess that's the case. Let's see again. Okay, still a conversation going on there. We can't create nothing. Okay, how many chances Vinicius missed and they still wins because of many chances and shots on goal? Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. I'm not blaming. Okay, you guys are having a conversation. I'm going to skip quite a few here and get to the very bottom. Chinedu says again, I will be. Again, I would like Mount to go. He's not the kind of player we need. Again, in that position, he's too stingy with the ball. That's new. Potter says he's confident again with this group. Yep, he said that on occasions. But let's start seeing again. Let's have clarity as to what's going on. Really, that's one of my biggest questions over him. People don't know the quality of Havertz, and they don't really understand the problem behind his struggles. A lot of people don't, but I still think he should at least, he should be doing better. How many shots on goals we have? This is embarrassing. We don't have midfielders. That's the truth. Kimso says Potter is always confident, but but the results and doesn't reflect that. Osimhen It's United top target. I know that. That's for sure. And Rashid 10, thank you so much for being part of the conversation. You can go check out our sister channel, Soccer Perspective. Soccer Perspective. There's a plan in place, communicating with a lot of people to get, again, willing panelists so that things can, that channel can come to light. But we're approaching 1,000 subscribers. I think what 800 and something subscribers right now. Your panelists talk is ridiculous. Osimhen isn't begging for suitors again, as we know. I know that quite well. More to his goals again, talking like again, it's only Africans that are rooting for him. He's nothing like Lukaku, that's for sure. I agree with that one. It's embarrassing to blame Havertz. Yeah, again, I've talked about it 10 times now. Osimhen should avoid Chelsea. Like I said, I think he should. It will be suicidal for him right now, given the way we play and all that. So I'm going to get to the very bottom. Let's talk about the final topic here. Apologies if I missed your comment. Next time I will try to get it. I have to go. Let me say again, I'm just going to say it openly. I have to go help my wife prepare the kids for church. You couldn't do it alone. That also goes to the strikers. Again, let the midfielders, let the midfielders and wingers work with the strikers. Then see them do it. He cannot do it alone. That's smart. Taking what I said to factor it into his comment. Mount is being dragged by the fan base too. News just came out again, but he's rejected an extension today. Or is it the old one you're talking about? Thiago Silva is a better coach than Porta. I'm not going to get into that. Let him become the head coach of a particular team and let's see what he does. I don't know. Let's get to this one. I really want us to talk about this one. Declan, I'm going to start with you. I know you want Rice, so maybe that makes sense to you. Let's get into that one.
Discussing Fofana.
Here's the one in question here. No, sorry, what did you say?
We're not discussing Fofana.
If you want to talk about him, you go ahead, but I don't think it makes any sort of sense. That's why maybe what Bobby said is the case. Maybe they're just recycling what we can. At the point, it was sounded like he was going to leave alone until Fabrizio Romano came out and said we didn't have the club doesn't have any plan to let him live on loan.
Okay.
So, but if you want to talk, you go.
No. If that's the case, and he's not going out on loan, that's perfect. But I think we should be giving him more opportunities because I think he has all the necessary qualities. He has good hold-up play. He's technical. He's big. He's strong. He's powerful. He's everything I look for in a striker, and I think he'd be a very good link-up player. I just think he needs the opportunity to work with the team. That's my personal belief, more so than a Pierre-Emerick, for instance. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, this comment doesn't really mean anything to me. I remember that, which means getting the best out of Lukaku, which means we'll drop deep, again, defend, soak up all the pressure from the opponent, get a chance, hit them on a break, and Lukaku has all the space in the world to finish. And usually it has to be one-on-one with the goalkeeper because dribbling is not sustained, really, if that makes any sort of sense. Again, just thank you so much again for Rashid 10. Here's the link to our sister channel, Soccer Perspective. Please do subscribe. And if you're a panelist, reach out to me. I'd like to bring you on to talk about Manchester United. Again, I'm going to move on from that one. Let me start you with this one, Roger, before I go to Bobby, and I'll let the cloud end there. Ty, so to speak, Ty also is here. Roger, this one says again, Enzo Fernandez, I try to watch as much football and learn a little bit from everyone. I like Rice of England. I try to watch him and learn from him. Yeah, a lot of people have taken this and run with it. Some, again, I know it's creativity. My bro, the Green Tough, made a video saying Enzo says, get me tells to a ball, get me Rice, something to that effect. It's just getting creative with content creation. Do you think this changes anything about, or this influences the club's decision to either go for Rice or not? To me, I wouldn't even take it that far.
I doubt very much that the Vivell and Winstanley and Potter and Bowley and Egbali have sat him down and said, who would you like to play with? I doubt very much that conversation.
And this is actually an old interview, but go ahead.
Yeah, I doubt. Yeah, okay. So this is pre-acquisition. Yeah, I doubt very much that, with all due respect to him, that this hierarchical people would come to him and ask who does he believe fits best fits this organization to play with. So yeah, he's open-minded. That means he looks at other players, just like many people in most sports. They look at like a certain player that's, you know, in their particular position, etc. Whether it be basketball, you know, American football for quarterbacks or tight ends or whatever the case, you know, or tennis players, for instance. That's very common indeed. That's been going on since time immemorial. But it's good to know that he's open-minded and that he does indeed try to watch and learn technique, perhaps, or just how he places himself, whatever it could be. It could be any facet of his particular game. And that's good because that's what he should be doing. I think that's very
more
mature.
Importantly, I think to me, more important, like you said, Roger, let me steal your comment. More importantly, it's a good thing that he's open-minded.
Yeah,
he never stops learning. He never stops learning. That's
he's like
no matter how you are.
He's like you.
Yeah. No matter how good you are at anything.
Yeah.
That's always thinking. The moment you think like you know it all, you're in trouble. Yeah. You're not going to progress. Yeah, you're not going to progress. So, Bobby, let me get your thoughts on this one. I'll get again tired before I let the Clad again round it off for us on this one. Sorry, but yeah, Bobby. Yeah, I meant Bobby too. Yeah, and I did say Bobby.
Bobby San.
Yeah. What about Enzo talking and saying he likes Rice? Well, a lot of people like Rice, but Declan Rice, I guess.
Yeah, please let's say Declan Rice, so it doesn't sound like we're saying talking about food.
No, he said Rice. He says he likes Rice.
No, I know, but we understand.
I think this was a pre-World Cup interview, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I think he was talking about players that he admired that played for different countries. And dovetailing it to the current situation, I think he would be happy if he saw Rice walking through the door. Although I've noticed that Shafter, David Moyes, is already talking about he's going to break the British transfer record.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody paying more than 107 or paying up to 107.
And how long? The duration of his current contract? How many years does he have left? How much time?
He has about 2 now.
One and a half.
So I don't think they get anything close to 70 actually.
Well, they want to add English tax to it as well, don't they? They just want to maximize whatever they can get. But I want Arsenal's not paying that money. Well, Liverpool, I don't know. It depends if they don't get the guy they're saving up for. And Man United, do they even need him? Well, they might. I don't know. But it will be interesting, his sale. But the player himself hasn't hidden from the fact that he wants to play for Chelsea. Look, in my opinion, I think that's what we need. And I think Enzo himself knows that's what we need. I want Chelsea to get away from this idea that we get this one player and he's there to solve everything. No, players need other players to complement them and sometimes to supplement them, hence the rotational system and the issue of squad depth. That is, as I said earlier in your stream, that is the reason why, if you look at the top 4, the only club that's there that has played games upwards of 60, 63, I think we actually played 65 last season, including the World Club Cup and so on. So if you look up there, the only team you see there is Man City. Why is that? Because they had the squad depth to take that number of games. Chelsea and Man United. Chelsea and Man United have the players are burnt out, flogged out, as in the case of N'Golo Kante and his injuries, and that's why we're struggling. Mainly why we're struggling at the moment. So we do need Declan Rice. I don't want us to do the same to Enzo. I really don't. I can see it happening. He's already started with it. Enzo playing CDM, DM, and advanced DM against Fulham. He was everywhere. It's unnecessary. It's a waste of energy. You don't need to do that. Or if you do it in one game, then you know that you have a rest. Fortunately, we're only playing once a week at the moment. But once we go down to that 2-game-a-week issue, I don't want to see that. So, yeah, I think we have a choice of 2 players to put alongside Enzo, and that's Declan Rice or Moise Caicedo.
All right, again, good comment there. And Kim's saying Aubameyang is being mistreated by the coach and the fans, and maybe not the coach. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but the fans, I think they're not judging him objectively. But again, I get your comment there. Havertz got haters again near him. Okay, what else? If he prefers his style of play, again, make no sense again to pair some kind of player. How can we talk about again? No. Are you same type of player? Are you saying Enzo and Rice? As much as I don't want Rice at Chelsea, I don't think he's very different from Enzo. They're 2 different profile of players. He will complement Enzo if anything. But again, I want a more complete player than Rice, but I'm not going to get into that argument. If he comes out taken, he'd do quite a lot of job for us, and our defense will be much more protected. Some fans hate Havertz more than Mount. Wow. Yeah. Again, we have a fan base that hated Alonso for no reason, hates Kai for no reason, and loves the culprits in defense. The culprits, again, who ain't performing and being consistent. Again, I'm not going to get into that argument, but I understand where you're coming from. Alonso now center back at Barcelona, and they are top in La Liga, and they just gave him an extension. He's done well. But here's the thing: one man's poison could be another man's food. He played again in the left wing back position for us and wasn't consistent enough. So let's let him go. Again, we didn't want to keep him, and he also wanted to leave. Alonso hate again was crazy. Again, most people not being objective when they critique players, they just again turn it into hate. That I don't like. Fans were calling for his release again. He'd come in next match and then score again a volley of again, he's that good of a player. Louis, I hope you're doing well. Alonso scored 2 goals from left wing back. He scored quite a lot of goals from us, and not just that one. If you paid attention, especially on the Antonio Conte. Yeah, Alonso was the highest scoring wing back in the EPL. Yep, nobody's taking away that from him. I think honestly, just again, the identity of some Chelsea fans nowadays, we've gotten spoiled. Unfortunately, that will continue. Like I said, I have something to go take care of, so I'll be skipping quite a lot of comment here. Alonso should have been a striker. If you want to argue that, again, that means nothing makes no sense again to have the same. They're not the same. Rice and Enzo are not the same. Rice isn't as offensively minded as Enzo. If anything, Rice offers more defensively than going forward. I don't know. I get your argument that Alonso should have been a striker. You could argue that he's a fine finisher on his day. Alonso's free kick, yeah, that balls again. He can, especially when it's Tottenham, he gets it right. Creatively, we just got 1,000 again times better than with Enzo. So our striking should be way better. It should be way better. Again, we had a lot of good chances last game, but the truth remains he's not again a central attacking midfielder. He plays from deep, except if Potter decides to take him even closer. That's fine. Bring him closer to the final third. I'd take that. But the fact is, I think he does better operating from deep, if that makes any sort of sense. Enzo played as an advanced DM. If that's how you see it, again, let's see. Again, when Kante comes back, we're winning every single game because he stayed disciplined while Enzo does his thing going forward. That can be really that can be 1 second, guys.
When does Kante return, chaps? 2 weeks?
I think whenever he wants, yeah.
So he's not going to be. He's going to come back. It's going to take him 2-3 games to get match fit.
Step up to the plate, people.
Yeah, Kante should be back this February, as we were told. I'm in the script at the very bottom, please. I don't have the time to read everybody's contribution right now. Ty, your thoughts again on the Enzo comments. Let's move on. I want to get Declan to round that one off for us.
on this video.
Okay.
No, I'm going to come. Declan, you be the last one to speak. I'm going to get Ty's thoughts on this Enzo comment. Some
Okay.
people have taken it and run with it and says he wants Enzo at Chelsea and all that. Yeah.
Okay. I don't read too much into that because that is an old interview, obviously. And yes, he's gonna look at him in particular and say, okay, fine, because the English league is very popular, and considering the fact that I'm assuming that this is back when what was it, the qualifiers? So
Possibly before
is that or is that the
just,
World Cup?
just before the World Cup kicked off.
Okay, so obviously he's gonna look at it and say these things because there's a lot of defensive midfielders or midfielders who play a defensive role, that he's gonna look and see, okay, I want to go to the English league eventually. Let me look at some players that are doing well there. And I'm sure he's not only looked at Declan Rice, but obviously the quoting and perhaps the translation says that he likes Rice of England, which means that you look at certain players and see if he can introduce some of that into his game. But I don't really think it's much to look into to say, okay, wow, I would love him to join me at Chelsea. I don't really think it's that deep, and I've seen a lot of people interpret it as that, especially when it's a interview that's happened even before Chelsea were even pushing for him. So I don't really think that it's something that really has any significance to say, okay, Declan Rice and Enzo is going to be the pivot. I don't really think so. But I mean, everybody is trying to give their own opinions on it.
All right, thank you so much, Ty. Again, Declan, you have the floor. Please round us for us with again a minute or two, so we can call it a day. I have to run.
Yeah, like the boy said, I watched this video. I saw the World Cup symbol there, so I assumed it was during or at the World Cup. It's cut, so I get a feeling that he went through probably a lot of teams, and he probably said he liked a lot of players that played in a similar position.
Exactly.
And the thing about Rice has been cropped out, and people making a bigger deal out of it. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. This is just cut that an agenda. I mean, Alex Goldberg is like that. I rated Rice for a while. He's no longer that big price player anymore. He's coming down to 2 years contract. West Ham are doing really bad. I don't think they can demand such a wage, a transfer fee anymore. So a cheaper Rice could be ideal.
Would you want him?
Yeah.
Oh, Roger, have you spoken on this particular topic?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Not really.
Did you skip Roger?
Yeah, I skipped him, really. Yeah. Because probably he's my friend. It's easy to forget him and feel like he can't do anything. But
it's okay, Roger. You're not alone, Roger.
For us, please. I don't have too much time.
You're not alone, Roger. It happens to me too.
Listen, I completely agree with what everyone has said. It's basically, you nailed it, de Klerk. It's cropped. He's probably been asked about a plethora of players from different leagues, and it's just editing. That's all. So I get it, and he's right to do that. But you know what? I wouldn't mind. I know what coach says, and I understand his concern. And they are totally two different players, but I think he would complement him.
Yeah, I did agree with that. But I want more than just him being defensively minded, if you get my point. But go ahead, let's so that we can round up, brother.
I would struggle.
You know, it depends how we want to play as well. I mean, if we're two sitters, then all right. But if we're not, I mean, Rice and Enzo, or Rice can see it and Enzo can go. I don't know, like
Rice, Enzo, and Canty. That's sexy.
It would be a perfect match, but I'm looking for more. Yeah. That's my question. Roger, you go ahead. You get finalize for us.
If we're going to use a 4-3-3, Rice, Enzo, and Canty is pretty bloody sexy. If we're going to use a 4-2-3-1, you know, it could be.
With a 4-3-3, if you're saying Rice does better essentially, then you're going to move Enzo to the right or to the left.
Sure. What's wrong with
Yeah,
that?
so we're talking about. I think we're better with the double pivot to accommodate them better.
Yeah, I know you love the
do this.
And who sits in front of them?
Yeah, we'll get to that. That's a good
How
question.
about Felix, Mount, whoever you want? Just
Yeah,
got a
so
balance of
Roger,
that,
you
by
go
the way.
ahead, drop so we can call it a
Just
day.
ensure that it's somebody who is
the Clyde, you're not talking again. You're my friend, so I don't have a problem. I gotta run. Roger, your final thoughts. What do you think there?
No, that's fine. That's fine. I've dropped. No, I agree with what they're saying, but it's the possibilities could be endless with those three. They're very good midfielders. All have different attributes, and you're right.
All right.
We're probably best off with two pivots. I agree.
All right.
Peace
Again,
out.
thank you so much, guys. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you to the panelists, Tyrone, my brother and friend, the class, and to you, brother. Roger, thank you. Bobby, thank you so much. And in the chat, again, Eugene, thank you. Luigi Pellegrini, thank you. Louis Rivera, thank you so much. Ike Ikenna, thank you so much. And Liam Lane, the captain of the house, thank you. Chimera, and again, every other person, if I miss your name, Santiago Munoz, apologies, I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Cheers.